Can't Talk is coming up from here.
And join Handsworth student Katrina Becker in the singing of the national anthem.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is my all-time favorite song right there. Well done by the Handsworth Royals. Christina Becker, I believe, doing the damage for O Canada. As the Royals football team over in front of their faithful here from Kinsman Park in North Vancouver as we get set for the 32nd annual Buchanan Bowl. It's Jake Elliott, it's Gord Randall with you here on BCHighSchoolFootball.com and SportsCanada.TV for the BC High School Football Game of the Week. Carson Graham, the Eagles, take on Handsworth here today, Gord, and a fabulous crowd on hand. Contingents from both schools here that can literally see each other from each other's campuses here, so very close proximity for these two schools. And the 32nd annual Buchanan Bowl is set to go off here. Should be a fun afternoon.
It's going to be great, and these two schools, there's not a lot of love lost. It's one of the best rivalries in BC high school sports, and you know, like you said, very close to each other. They're in the ultra-competitive AAA Western Conference here. Handsworth made the jump up a couple years ago. Carson Graham a couple years before that. So now they're in the same conference through and through. There's a lot on the line in this conference affair.
Royals will wear their whites with the blue trim, yellow helmets. The Eagles, Carson Graham, in their reds, white helmets over across the far sideline as we are literally right amongst the Royals faithful here, Gord, and we could be in for a fun but a loud afternoon here from Kinsman as they got the noisemakers, they got the pots and pans going, stomping on the stands here as well as we get set for kickoff here in the 32nd annual Buchanan Bowl on SportsCanada.TV. And coming into this one, Handsworth 1-3 so far in the season, 1-2 in conference play, 0-4 for Carson Graham, 0-3 in conference, and it's been a tough schedule for the Eagles to start, taking on New Westminster, of course, Mount Duggan there as well, I believe, and some real injury trouble for the Eagles as they look to get back to health, and an easier part of their schedule coming up as they look to get on the right track here.
Yeah, they have their starting quarterback, Charlie McMillan, number 8, is questionable for this game, so it'll be interesting to see who takes the first snap for them, but they put up some yardage despite losing those games. The offense can move.
Ethan Smith kick it off. Let's play some football. That's a live one, and the Eagles are going to pounce on a onside kick right off the get-go. As they went with the squibber right off the get-go, Gord, and they recovered the onside kick. It's going to be Eagles football inside the 40-yard line.
Interesting on the kickoff return theme there for Handsworth. It seemed like paralysis by analysis on the front two rows there as everyone was just kind of waiting for, okay, who's going to pick that up? But it looked like the kicker himself, number 4, Ethan Smith, squibbed it right at the middle and almost fell on it himself. I think it squirted out late. Somebody else got it. But
Ryan Brady dialing up the onside kick to start the game, and I don't think anyone expected that on the Royals side of the football, and it pays off as the Eagles will get it at the 40-yard line. As they don't have the yard markers on the field here, we'll have to go with the ones on the sideline. As they're going to get to the 30 for a first down, and let's check it at pivot here. It's number 8 in there. That's Charlie McMillan, who missed the first couple due to illness, but he's back in there as he throws on first down. He's got a completion, and spinning his way almost down to the 21-yard line was Logan Wiedner. And a good completion on first down there for the Eagles. They pick up close to 20.
And Logan Widener is a guy that when I talked to head coach Brian Brady for the Carson Graham Eagles yesterday, he had nothing but praise for this kid. He's a rugby player, a high-level national rugby player, and you can see that in his build at 6'4", 235. I mean, that guy just looks like a matchup weapon, and it looks like he can move too.
Now we'll keep an eye on 99 as he'll light up at the tight end position here. It's a 1st and 10 from the 20. In between the hash marks, if you will, here for Charlie McMillan out of the shotgun as he sends a man across the formation. And handed off up the middle, not much as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. On the carry there for Darius Andre, as this Carson Graham school here, Gord, really known for being a well-balanced school as far as athletics go, and there's upwards of 14 guys in that rugby team that you played for now playing football here for Carson Graham. They really pride themselves on being a well-rounded athletic school, and a chance for these seniors to finish off the Buchanan Bowl on the right note here. Little play action read, and it's McMillan on the keeper. He'll drive his way down towards the 10-yard line, close to another first down, but it'll be 3rd and short here for Carson Graham on the opening drive of the football game after recovering an onside kick.
Interesting that Carson Graham's kept it on the ground a couple times early here, obviously wanting to establish the running game. They have been a pretty pass-heavy, air raid style attack this season, so interesting to see now that with the starting quarterback back in too that they've decided to establish the ground game early here. Yeah,
they really do like to move the ball down the field, but a nice balance of run and pass here for McMillan and the Eagles so far. Empty backfield this time, 5 receivers into the game. Long count here. Here's the shotgun snap. Looks left, swings it out there. And completion made. Is it enough for a first down? No, they'll say 4th down.
Impressed with the hands from Logan Widener there, though. That was a low and outside ball, and he just reached down and snagged that with ease. Something that translates really well from rugby over to football is those ball skills they're used to handling a similar shaped ball. Yeah, that was really impressive from the big number 99.
And here in the high school game, you will not see a lot of field goal attempts as they line it up here on about 4th and let's call it 2. McMillan trying to draw him off with a hard count. Royals not jumping. McMillan looks back to the sideline. Do they want to go? Do they want timeout? They're going to snap the football, and they're offside across the line, and that'll be a procedure call, and this may change the decision here of Coach Brady.
It may, although it doesn't look like he's changing much on the sidelines here, so it looks like it's go, go, go. I don't mind the decision. You know, you got a big game here. The kids are all fired up. Maybe your center a little too fired up on that one. But
just maybe not fired up enough. Was late on the snap. Everybody was across the line, and the ball had yet to be snapped as the Eagles call timeout here to talk over this upcoming 4th down play.
And that's one of those as a coach where the kid will likely come over to the bench, go, "My bad, coach," and you'll go, "I know, man." The rest of the team moved and you didn't.
Everybody knows. Yes. So back it up. It'll be 4th and 8 now after the penalty call. As they work just inside the 20-yard line, here's McMillan to throw on a slant. It was knocked down at the line, and that'll be a turnover on downs. It looked like Theo Benedict got a paw up on that one, and he's been the leader on defense so far here for the Royals.
Not sure the call to try and throw over the 6'5" defensive end on a quick slant in the 4th and 8 there is Benedict. You can see the length there. He is a true 6'5", and this is a kid that in talking to Farhan Lalji, the new Westminster head coach, who played against these Handsworth Royals just last week, he talked him up as a guy that's got a really high ceiling, a lot of potential. You'll see him at left tackle on offense here too. Can move well at 6'5".
17 tackles, 4 sacks, and a fumble recovery for Benedict so far. As the turnover on downs, and now it's the Royals' turn on offense for their first possession. As Lutman, excuse me. Bit of an awkward pitch there. And Lutman around the near corner. Flag comes in. And I think this one's going to come back for a hold out on the edge there, Gord, as Usually when you can turn the corner that easily, there's a reason for it, and the penalty flag flies.
Yeah, always tough asking some of your smaller guys on the edge to block with some of these stretch-type plays, but like the play design, a little flip toss to Lutman there. He had a lot of room. If you're the Handsworth Royals, you're probably trying to establish the same thing the Eagles are trying to establish on the other side of the ball, which is a balanced attack. Everybody knows that the attack for Handsworth is all about number 13 out there, Keelan White, the man who's already committed to play for the UBC Thunderbirds next year. One of the best, if not the best, pure receiver in the province right now is Keelan White. So all eyes are on him, but if you're Handsworth, you cannot have your offense go through one guy. You got to get other guys involved.
Ryan Jensen will orchestrate the offense here for the Royals this afternoon, and 35 of 71, 747 yards so far, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. For the Royals pivot, he has been good so far this season as he stands in the shotgun with a running back Lutman off to his left. Trip receivers near side. Here's the shotgun snap, look downfield. They got a man on the go pattern and probably should have kept going there as the ball falls incomplete. And I'll bring up 2nd and long.
Too bad that was a catchable ball and he had some room. Jensen did a pretty good job. It was a little underthrown, but he also placed it out towards the sideline where only his guy can make a play on that. You saw number 3, Mahir Hosseini, probably the Eagles' best single defensive player out there in coverage, and keeping the ball away from that guy in coverage is always a good decision, even if the pass falls to the ground.
And I believe leading BC High School football in tackles as well for Hosseini.
34 through his first 3 games recorded. For Hosseini, he flies around.
That's 10 plus a game there, Gordon Randall. That's quick math for you right there. 2nd and long here, make it 2nd and 20 from the 10. Ryan Jensen waits for the long snap. Eagles show 4. And it's a handoff running right. Eagles trying to string it out and do a pretty good job of that as Keelan White on the carry doesn't get much.
And there's one of the ways that you will find that head coach Richard White tries to get Keelan White involved, as he will make use of him on the ground there. Looked like Carson was all over that one, and now Handsworth is not a lot of plays in the playbook for 3rd and 18.
On and dangerous territory to be running a 3rd and 18 too. Yeah, you want to pick up a first down. Yeah, you want to be aggressive. Yeah, you want to move the football. But 3rd and 18 backed up along your own goal line here can be a dangerous proposition, and I could really see maybe like a screen pass set up here, maybe like a delayed draw up the middle, something pretty safe here, and maybe play a little field position early in this game in a scoreless tie.
I'm going to say it all depends on coaching philosophy, but you're probably just trying to get a chunk at this point and give your guy a chance to, if you break something, maybe turn the chains over, but pick up your 5-6, make it a better punt for you.
Well, Jansen has a look to his left, wants to pick up the Mike Blitzer, but I think we got to delay a game, and this is going to back up the Royals even closer to their own goal line. And man, oh man, now what do you draw up here, Gordon? Like,
now you need to get some yardage though, because if you're punting from this deep, you may have to consider taking a knee.
I really do think you have to start to consider maybe giving up the safety and get the free kick away. So many things, as you know, as a coach yourself, Gordon, bad things can happen, especially at the high school level in the kicking game period. But when you're backed up along your own goal line, the snap has to be good. You got to hold, you got to block up front just to get that kick away, and doing it with a short field can be even more of a challenge. So let's see what they do here on 3rd and forever. They'll look to this near side, load up a long pass. It's on the mark, and it's batted around, and it's caught. Oh, my. That one hit about 3 different players. Still on his feet. He's going to break away. Steele Young to the 30, 25, 20, 15, 5. Touchdown Royals. What a play.
Disastrous turn of events for the Carson Graham Eagles. I was just about to jump in with the praise for number 2, Kenneth Lucas. I do see some late laundry on the ground. Be interesting to see if there's too much yapping out there or what.
I don't think this one is coming back. That'll be maybe an unsportsmanlike conduct flag sitting back at the 47-yard line as the officials will talk it over. Bit of shoddy tackling there from the Eagles as well. It looked like Steele was wrapped up, managed to keep the legs moving and break away from the pack. And nobody was going to catch number 1 from behind as he takes it to the house from about the 50-yard line after it bounced around off about 3 different sets of hands. And it will count for the Royals. Junctional conduct penalty against Handsworth, but score the touchdown. And it's 6-0 Royals.
Interesting, you already have it on Sportsmanlike conduct penalty. I mentioned there's no love lost between these two teams. Handsworth let Carson Graham know that was a really disastrous play for them. Remarkable the way it came down there, the juggling ball. And when you're a defender, as much as you want to coach those guys up to always be ready, always be playing, when you think that the ball's in the ground and all of a sudden it's in the other guy's hands, the play's still live, that's tough.
The old tip drill.
Tough to react to.
And I think Steele Young's hands first and then hit a couple of Eagle defenders before bouncing back into the hands of Steele Young.
And that's disastrous. We were just talking about what a pickle Handsworth's offense was in. That's disastrous for the Carson Graham Eagles to have that, even just to turn over the change, then have it turn into a touchdown. You had them 3rd and 18 on their own 5.
That's a big play to give up, no doubt about it. As I believe they'll enforce that unsportsmanlike penalty on the kickoff, as the Royals late to get a man out on special teams.
3rd and 23, actually. I forgot about the 5 on the delay of game. 3rd and 23.
And big conversion there. And that easily could have been a pick 6 going the other way as well, but fortunate bounce. As Theo Benedict, the big man, will do the kicking duties here for Handsworth. High snap, got it down, but it's blocked. That's a live football? No, the referees will blow it down, so it'll be 6-0 Handsworth after the long touchdown from Steele Young. But a blocked extra point, and Carson Graham set to get the football back here.
It'll be interesting to see how Carson Graham bounces back from that, because it's always tough with high school age kids when you know it's a lucky play and you know it's a big play against you to have guys mentally reset. That being said, from everything that I've seen, Carson Graham looks like the more composed team right now. That one play went pretty badly for him, but we saw a discombobulated offense from Handsworth. They were discombobulated on that extra point attempt. They took the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, so now they're going to be kicking off from their own 20, or their own 25, I should say.
It's early.
Carson Graham's in pretty good position to bounce back. It'll be interesting to see if they can mentally actually do so.
As we told you off the top, it is the 32nd annual Buchanan Bowl here. I did not get a chance to find out from Howard Samara or other on what the actual head-to-head record is in the 32-game series here in the Buchanan Bowl. So if you know, don't be shy. Get at me via Twitter at PXP, the number 4 Sports. PXP for Sports. Go, you owe me a follow, by the way. I sent you a follow. I expect one back. PXP for Sports. And let us know if you know the overall record in the Buchanan Bowl here between Handsworth and Carson Graham. So the kickoff will come back here from the 25-yard line for the Royals. Sulao leads 6-0. Here's Benedict. And what do we got? Official not quite happy with the way they're lined up here pre-kick. Benedict starts him in motion. He'll drive the leg into it. Good long high kick. He'll drive it all the way over the receiver's head, all the way back to about the 5-yard line. And now Balukos on the return. He's picking his way through the defense. Still on his feet, Balukos. And finally wrapped up around the 28-yard line after that long kick from Benedict. Balukos had to go back and then did pretty well to get back out to decent field position here for the Eagles.
Carson Graham's going to give that field position right back here as they took a deep block in the back penalty. Borderline whether it was side or back, but it was one of those, the coverage guy is turning the bend and a kickoff return guy comes and just lays him out as he's changing directions. That's going to get called every time, even if you are technically on the side of the shoulder instead of the back. So deep in Carson Graham's end is where this ball is going to start. It looks like about their own 6-yard line here.
Long field indeed for the Eagles as the Eagle fans look to get something going here to cheer about.
Big break for Handsworth with the deep kickoff to turn that around, though. That's huge for them.
Big leg there on Benedict. As they'll work from the right hash mark. McMillan still in there, quarterback, standing at the shotgun near his own goal line. Takes the direct snap. He's got room to run here, does McMillan. Lowers the pads down and drives it across out near the 25. Good play on first down there for Carson Graham, and they want to go up tempo here as they hustle to the line. Empty backfield once again. And officials waiting for the chains to get spun. A little slow there on the chain gang. McMillan to throw. Deep down this near sideline. One-on-one out there. And it's picked off.
They're marking it. They're marking that a catch by the receiver.
No, they are not.
They are.
Oh, my goodness.
And to be honest with you, I don't think either of them caught it. I think that was an incomplete pass. So they're going to discuss this here because I think the back judge, number 85, may think he had a better look at this, but I don't think either of those guys secured that ball in bounds.
It looked like Rajwani had it, but then had it yanked away out of his hands by Jensen, who actually possessed the ball to the ground, which never touched the ground. But you know, the situation here is the old Monday night game between Seattle and Green Bay, that situation where you see him go up in the end zone, they both come down with it, and it just becomes a judgment call here by the officials on who actually had possession.
At least we don't have the replacement officials on this particular game, so we can have some confidence that they might be able to get this one right. But you know, on that first down play before, you see the advantage of running a spread offense, opening up. They went and empty there, had a 5-man box, and that's a lot of pressure on those 5 men in the box for the defense to defend that play properly. It looked to me like Charlie McMillan might have seen a crease open up.
Oh man, they are going to call it a catch for Rajwani. And I think the Eagles just got away with one there.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree with that.
If nothing, if it was either an incomplete pass or it should have been Handsworth's ball, but Rajwani will get credit for the catch. It's a long pass indeed. And here's a handoff up the middle. And that'll go close to 7. And late tackling coming in.
See some jitterbugging there. Number 9, Darius Andrade with the carry. And again, like I said, looking into the Carson Graham Eagles pass-heavy attack leading into this game, looks like they're committed to getting a little more balance going today. So
they're going with Andrade, possibly. As McMillan to throw on a slant. This one is picked off, and look out. This one's going back for a house call the other way. Potentially McMillan, the last tackler, can't do it. And touchdown for Robert Lutman. What a play, Handsworth. Two massive plays, now lead it 12-0.
That's a mistake that young quarterbacks sometimes make. He saw that slant open up right off the line of scrimmage. Did not see the inside backer Lutman coming out into his flat, and just basically threw it right to him. As a quarterback, you got to have awareness. What is the other team's general coverage scheme? Where is the coverage into that zone going to come from?
Well, Lutman had 2 touchdowns on offense coming into this game. Give him one on defense on the pick 6 there as he goes back the other way for about 60. And now I think the Royals leading 12-0 here may line up and go for 2 to try and make it a 14-0 game here.
Might be a quarterback change in the works for the Eagles here as I see number 10, Graham Marr, warming up on the sidelines. Interesting to see. I mean, McMillan's been out for a couple weeks. I know he's been under the weather this week.
At quarterback as well, due to injury, but I think he's more effective out on the edge. So, give me an interesting call here to see what Brian Brady wants to do. As here comes the 2-point conversion. Lutman, the deep man, but it's Jensen to throw into traffic, and they'll say incomplete. And it'll remain 12-0 here as the Carson Graham Eagles on their heels a little bit to start this 32nd annual Buchanan Bowl. A huge play on offense and then a pick 6 on defense. And the Royals of Handsworth lead at 12-0.
And that's huge play is the key, right? That's now 2 big what we call explosion plays, and those can be tough to recover from. It's early still, but it looks like it's almost gut check time already for the Carson Graham Eagles. They need to punch back here.
.6:28 to go here in this opening quarter of 4. As we play 48 minutes of football here at the high school level. And 4-down football here in BC high school football as well.
4 down, 11 man, all that kind of good stuff. I flip-flopped back and forth in my life.
College rules, they don't play NFL rules. They play NCAA rules, if you will. I always find that a little interesting. At the high school level, they play 4-down football, and at the BC junior level, they play the Canadian rules. Just look at the leg from Bennett as he pounds it into the end zone on the kickoff. You don't see too many high schoolers be able to do that.
Yeah, casual touchback. There, that's a really impressive kick from Theo Benedette.
And that's really a tough area of high school football, getting downfield, covering kicks, can always be such huge plays in a high school football game, and if you can consistently get touchbacks on kickoffs, that's huge for your team as they'll start this drive from the 20-yard line.
Yeah, there's just so much field to cover out there too, and honestly, it's difficult on the kickoff return team too. A lot of space to block up as well. It can sometimes be pretty difficult for them too. So it's always an interesting play. I hate the NFL's basically taking that out of the game. To be honest.
Me too. I mean, I get the safety, but at least make it where it's got to be a judgment call from time to time, and not just automatic kick it through the end zone every time. First down carry. We'll pick up close to 5. McMillan still in there at quarterback because they're not ready to give up on number 8 here early in this game, just trailing by a couple of scores. Yeah, I'll bring up second down and 5. McMillan with time. Now he gets flushed out of the pocket, looking downfield. He's going to run it. Good cut. Close to first down yardage, and that should move the sticks.
That's one way to recover from a bad throw, is to spend a couple plays moving the ball without throwing the ball. McMillan looks really confident running the ball.
Yeah, just got enough to move the chains. Ball out to the 30. As the Royals fans trying to get their defense fired up here for a 1st and 10. McMillan barking out signals, takes the shotgun snap, quick pass, and it's high for Rajwani, through the hands and out of bounds, incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Still a little discombobulated looks McMillan in the passing game, however, as that one was a pretty high percentage pass, and he just sailed it over Rajwani's head. Rajwani's 6'3", too. It's not like it's a guy where there's a justifiable sail over his head.
But after throwing a pick 6 in the same kind of area of the field, same kind of pass pattern as well, that's going to get to your nerves a little bit, and maybe just a little quick to deliver the football there. Didn't set the feet properly. As they'll bring him, and he's going to pitch it this time. And only a couple of there for the Eagles, and I'll bring up a 3rd and long.
Interesting to see what Brian Brady does here. Does he keep the ball on the ground, try and turn it over in a safer manner, or does he do what he did on the second down play, which is to give McMillan a safe, high percentage throw?
Yeah, I think you maybe look for like a cross over the middle, make sure that receiver's got a little separation from his defender.
And here's the other thing on the Handsworth side of the ball. We talked about Keelan White on offense. He's a good enough corner to just about lock it down on his half of the field as a cornerback on defense as well. So I don't know, especially with him being to the field side right now, I don't know if that's a guy that you want to test in this situation.
We'll put 2-3 receivers over on that wide side. Just Rajwani one-on-one on this near side, and maybe look for the ball to come to Rajwani. McMillan looking. Pressure comes downfield. There's the cross. There's the completion. There's a first down. Oh, a hard hit on the sideline. As that was a collision and a half, but nice job there to hang on to the football for Braden Lifton.
Big pop from Cooper Nelson, number 36, the corner on this side. McMillan doing a great job to extend that play. It looked like a bust in pass protection up front for the Eagles. McMillan had a free rusher right up the middle, which is just about the worst case scenario, but he managed to elude him and hit his man Lifton on the run.
It really was a long cross there for Lifton to finally come open about 5 yards away from the near sideline, but picked up close to 15. Here's McMillan to throw again. Nice hands from Rajwani. But again, the pass a little bit high. Didn't give Rajwani a chance to make a play after catching the football.
High and behind, which is tough in that sort of play design, but you can see what Brian Brady is trying to do in that he's trying to give his quarterback some low-risk throws where even if he does miss throw like that, well, whatever, we lost a yard. But there's a lot of safety there. They've got a blocker out in front of the receiver. Not a lot of chance for that to go back the other way, which is nice for trying to get your quarterback into a rhythm.
So call it, well, give him no gain, 2nd and 10. McMillan looking to the sideline. 2 receivers to this near side, 2 to the high, single setback. Shotgun snap, McMillan to throw again. He's got an open man. And completion, it's Lifton again, picking up close to 8. And bring up 3rd and manageable here That's better from McMillan. Good decision, quick delivery, and put it on the mark.
Lifton, the leading receiver of 4 Carson Graham receivers who are up over 200 yards receiving on the season. Well-balanced passing attack for the Eagles.
They go quickly. It's Lifton again. He's got to make one man miss. He does, but here come the Royals defense. Lifton still on his feet, and he did that one himself, did number 12. Was caught behind the line by about 2-3 yards, but made multiple Royal defenders miss. And picks up the first down, but a couple of flags down on the field after that play.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some more extracurriculars here as 2 of those came in late, and I don't know if they're the same foul or different ones.
One going against the Royals, and an automatic first down. So tack on an extra 15 after that first down catch from Lifton. And Carson now in business as they'll spot the ball down.
Now, I wish more coaches would do this at this level, but me as a head coach, a guy takes a penalty like that, I'm giving him a play. I'm pulling him off the field for a play.
Yeah.
I'm making sure he's got his head right. I'm making him calm down and then letting him reset the next play. A lot of coaches don't do that. I wish that more coaches would.
Maybe even a series.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how he reacts when you get him to the sideline, but
Sure.
You don't know what's going on in his head right now.
Yeah, if there's no consequence, then it's probably not going to set home that that's not okay to do. You got to send a bit of a message there. I totally agree. Penalty this time on Carson.
And there's different ways to approach it, too. You don't necessarily have to bring the kid over to the sidelines and chew him out, but you should have a conversation with him so you can see where his head's at. And it may be as simple as, hey, man, like, you know you can't be doing that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, coach.
I know all about it. Different sport, but I've done a little coaching in my day as well. And that's pretty much how it goes. So 1st and 15 now. For McMillan will work from the right hash mark. And it's a handoff. Looking to pick his way through the defense, but pretty good job there on the defensive line for the Royals to stack that one up for no gain.
Andre tipping the scales at 155 would qualify as a slasher or a scat back, not necessarily a between the tackles type of runner. You can see that there. He wants to try and bounce it horizontal. Handsworth caught up to them there.
So after no gain, it's 2nd and 15. Clock running down to 3:20 here in the first quarter. 12-0 Handsworth. Here comes the blitz. Picked up nicely. Deep ball into the end zone. Open man. Touchdown for the Eagles. Austin James on the reception, and the Eagles are on the board. Nice delivery there from McMillan. Better job blocking at the point of attack to give McMillan the time to deliver the football.
And this is a matchup that that Carson Graham should be able to exploit this afternoon. They've got Austin James. They've also got Logan Widener, 2 big body receivers that have the athleticism to play as receivers. And tight ends are really difficult to cover in the high school game. So if you can find ways to get them downfield and have your quarterback make a comfortable throw to those guys, if you have good athletes out there, that can be a real mismatch. And it sure looked like it there.
And they will line up for a single here, as it looks like Ethan Smith will attempt to kick. McMillan the holder. High snap. They'll fake it. Now they're going to look into the end zone on a pass, and it's tipped down. What an athletic play out on the edge there. Was that White?
That was Keelan White. No surprise. Probably one of the few players on the field that could make that play. He got up on that ball.
That was a well-designed fake field goal, or extra point, if you will. But a better defensive effort there from White just to get a fingertip on that one. And I think that was going to be an easy 2 if he doesn't get a hand on that one. But it falls incomplete. And now both teams on the board. 12-6 Handsworth as they're set to get the football back here at a packed Kinsman Field in North Vancouver. Here for the 32nd annual Buchanan Bowl.
And that's been the story for the Handsworth Royals, is that Keelan White has been you don't see a lot of transcendent high school players, guys that can single-handedly elevate their team. Keelan White has shown that ability and has made them a force to be reckoned with every week in this Western Conference. Last guy I can think of that was like that was Chase Claypool, actually. And I'm not going to compare the two necessarily, but Chase Claypool out at Abbotsford, who's now at Notre Dame, was a guy that was able to take over games the way Keelan White can when he's on as well. He's really something special, this kid.
Here comes the kickoff. It's a deep one this time from Smith as he angles it far sideline, brought in around the 15. And still on his feet up that far side. Nice return there, out past the 30 to about the 35-yard line. Tough to pick up a number over there, Gord Randall. I think it was number 15, but that also doesn't seem right because I don't have a number 15 on my roster.
I guess that's one way to to tell if you're right or wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, big gang tackle. It ultimately took about 4 guys to bring him down. And one thing we have seen on both sides is a little bit of sloppy tackling in special teams and on defense on both sides at times. So something that the coaching staffs will want to tighten up on these respective squads.
It just looks like the chains and the football are not quite lined up here from my vantage point, Gord Randall. I don't know if that looks like that to you or not. Maybe by a half a yard or so, but they'll take it at the 37-yard line. Will the Royals?
It's tough without the individual yard markers in this particular field. Interested to see what the Handsworth offense looks like. Remember, they did not look very well organized prior to that lucky bomb.
Under center this time. It's a handoff on first down, and not much for White there. He'll go backwards, in fact, and lose a couple. As the Eagles really came through on that defensive line and snuffed that one out quickly.
Yeah, it looked like number 65 on that tackle, Ian McTavish. And one thing you'll see from the Eagles, pretty good size on that defensive line, especially length. You can see Logan Widener, 99 out there. Brian Brady telling me he plays the position in their defense that is probably the key position in their defense, who's basically their stud.
Difference maker.
Yep, very much so. So while Hosseini's been piling up the tackles, he gave a lot of love to number 99 for keeping bodies off of that guy.
Well, that's really why he's making a lot of tackles, because he's taking up the defense. 2nd and 12. And what do we got?
Another delay of game. Wow.
And how do you coach? No, I don't know if that is the delay game signal.
It was from the back judge. I don't know what the head referee is doing here, but he's saying delay of game. That's not a signal I recognize, though, Jake.
That's the old interference call in hockey.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Pull back to the 29-yard line after the penalty.
With 2:03 on the clock, that just about takes us to quarter time.
Got to get to the odd man situation here. Power play for Handsworth. No. Good run to the far side, and he'll step out of bounds after getting back to close to the original line of scrimmage, the 36-yard line.
And you can see the athleticism, Ryan Jensen there. Looked like a blown pickup on the front for Handsworth. You had 2 Carson Graham Eagles off the offense's right edge coming free. Unfortunately for Carson, both of them collapsed and blew their contain and let Jensen outside.
Which will drive you right up the wall.
Well, it does, because that's a basic concept on defense, and especially when you have 2 guys free, there's no reason for that outside guy to be doing anything but keeping contained.
White will be split to the near side here. It's a 3rd and just over 10. As Jensen with 1 running back off to his right. And 2 receivers to the high side. 1 in the slot. High snap. Brought it down. Jensen trying to set up the screen. Oh, and a collision there right away. That'll be incomplete. As a massive hit delivered there from Hosseini. Just blew up his man and knocked the ball free in the process. As that one was intended for Lutman, who paid the price, and it'll be 4th down.
You know, they were trying to set up the screen there, and in my opinion, it was just that the Handsworth offensive lineman did not hold the original pass pro for quite long enough. It looked like it was slow setting up, and one of the reasons was I thought the offensive line released too fast. And what that does is that allows, especially when you have a good linebacker like Hosseini, to put his foot in the ground and come upfield. And you can see when he comes upfield, he is decisive and delivers an impact.
And they will kick away here on 4th and long. Benedict with time. Decent kick. Andre will take it. Picking up blocks. He's got room to run here. Look out. Needs a block on the edge. Cuts it back inside. And gets down to about the 43. So not a lot of net yardage gain there. Excuse me. As that was Jade Duke on the return, not Andre.
You know, good leg from Benedette, but typically on your punt team, you do not want to be placing a punt towards the field side of your formation. They were kicking from the right hash there. He puts it back towards the middle of the field, almost to the other hash mark, and that's really tough to cover.
Yeah, sometimes you can just outkick your coverage as well if you get a good boot off. So maybe, like a net of 6-7 yards after that long punt, but a good return. And the Eagles, who trail by 6, will line of scrimmage here from the 42.
pendulum swung a little bit here, Jake. Let's see if the Eagles take advantage of it.
McMillan bobbled the snap, now shoots it over the middle, lifting the catch, sidesteps a man, protect that football as he goes down at the 23-yard line. As McMillan, a little sketchy there on taking the snap, but once he got it set in the hand, delivered a nice ball to lift, and he made the catch. And
really nice catch and tight coverage.
Yeah.
Bowen Jamala Bokic back there. Looked like he actually had a hand right into on the hands of the receiver there.
Again, we see this up-tempo offense here from the Eagles. McMillan looking for the quarterback keeper. He'll come right up the gut. He's got he's got good yardage on first down as he picks up close to 6. And the Eagles inside the red zone now, knocking on the door, trying to tie up this game.
You know, having an athletic running quarterback just adds such a dimension to your offense, especially with these spread offenses. Like I said earlier, you're getting bodies out of the box. If your quarterback is able to have the vision to be able to add his feet to the mix, it's almost impossible to stop.
3 receivers, high, wide side. Rajwani, the one-on-one matchup down low, this near sideline. And McMillan to throw, quick set, and not the greatest delivery there, intended for the lift in. Was pretty good coverage out there as well. And it falls incomplete, it'll bring up third down.
Looked like attempting to throw the same pattern that got them down this deep on that first reception to lift in on this drive. And just a muffin coming out of the hands of McMillan here.
Put that muffin back in the oven. 30 seconds to go here in quarter number 1. Big third down play coming here for Carson Graham. They got Hosseini in the backfield here, split off to the right of McMillan. Keep an eye on number 3. He'll take the handoff up the middle, drives his way forward. He'll be short of first down yardage. As let's check the spot, probably by about, Gord, 2 yards here. And a fourth down decision now for Coach Brady once again.
Yeah, again, tough for us to see, but this is based on what Coach Brady did before. They're actually going to call a timeout so they don't have to switch ends here. It looks like the players are signaling for a timeout. No, maybe they've changed their minds.
They're just going to let clock run here and talk about it before second quarter action resumes. 12 minutes in the books here from Kinsman at the Buchanan Bowl. And the Handsworth Royals lead the Carson Graham Eagles 12-6. After 1 quarter of play, we'll take a quick break here on SportsCanada.TV, BCHighSchoolFootball.com. For the game of the week, we're back in a minute. Stick around. Football fans, welcome back here to Kinsman Buchanan Bowl, 32nd half. Still waiting for somebody to tell me what the all-time record is head-to-head here. If you know, let me know at PXP for Sports.
Come on, Tweeps.
Yes,
step up.
There you go. Fourth down. Big play coming here as we start second quarter action. Hosseini back in there in the backfield. Fake the handoff. McMillan to throw. It's batted up in the air, and it'll fall incomplete. And a collision there after the whistle. Yeah, no harm, no foul. A couple of big bodies coming together there, and Benedict and Weidman.
Yeah, you know what you're seeing on both sides of the ball, both teams having some issues stemming the tide up front on offense. Defensive lines, looks like there's linemen in the backfield on a lot of these plays. Some of it's by design. It's easier to not block a guy and let him take himself out of the play than it is to block him sometimes. But on that one, you know, just couldn't get the ball over top of the hands of the free rusher. I'm surprised that Brian Brady decided to go to the air there. That's a big stop for the Handsworth Royals to stem the tide when it felt like I said earlier, the pendulum was kind of swinging back the other way towards the Eagles side.
It's Jake Elliott, Gord Randall with you here for the BC High School Game of the Week. And after 12 minutes of play, it's 12-6 Handsworth as they get the ball back on the turnover on downs. But deep inside their own zone, here's the high snap. Jensen will hand off. Good burst through the hole. We'll pick up. Well, it's tough to tell from our angle here, Gord. Probably close to 5.
Looks like it, yeah. You saw White put his foot in the ground and turn upfield. Looks like they got about halfway to the sticks there. And, the timing was a little bit off on that, too. I mean, White's got the kind of speed that if you can time up that jet properly and have him right there, what you want on a play like that is you want the quarterback to catch that shotgun snap and have your guy hit him a step later. And it was just a little bit slow coming out the gates there. That makes it more difficult up front to block it up. Timing
is everything, as they say. Second and about 5 here. Fans, if you're joining us late, we're literally right into the stands here among the Handsworth Royals fans as we call this Buchanan Bowl. And here's the second down play with the clock running, a minute gone. Jensen looks deep, good spiral underneath this one into double coverage for White. It was tightly guarded there. A flag does come in, and we may get pass interference here.
Boy,
they didn't care. They threw it right into double coverage. They thought White could make the play.
I don't believe I saw a turn back there from Belucos number 2, so I'm going to guess that's what the call is. But boy, I mean, that's pretty. I think I go no call there, right? That's a pretty borderline call there. It's funny. I was just saying to one of my coaches last night after our game, one of the things I've been generally impressed with throughout our season this year that I hadn't noticed in previous years, because I was an offensive line coach in the past, so I didn't really pay much attention to the pass game stuff. But, in previous years, I didn't notice a lot of the referees in this province will let guys kind of battle it out on 50-50 balls in the air. And if you look, by the way, it almost looks like they're backing this up.
Oh, my.
So maybe they're calling Keelan White for the push-off?
Have to wait for a signal here.
I don't think there was that either.
Umpire's got his hat off, which usually means something as well.
Usually means that a guy stepped out of bounds.
So maybe that was the call there, is White coming out of bounds, then coming back in bounds, and first guy to touch the football. You're not allowed to do that. And they may back him up here.
Looks like they're just going to, I don't know what they've decided, but it looks like they're just going to call this off.
Yeah, it's going to be 3rd and 5 here.
He just waved declines. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Welcome to my world, man. 2nd and 5, they're going to say, from about the 21. Man in motion across the formation. Fake the handoff. Deliver the football to White. Trying to stay on his feet. And knocked down at the sideline. Inbounds, they'll say. And very close to first down yardage.
Pretty good ball from Jensen, and you can see.
They will, in fact, save first down, Gord Randall, as they'll move the sticks.
You can see White, a good feel for where tacklers are coming from and what he can do to elude them as he instinctually catches the ball, ducks under a tackler there, and is able to add some yak yards to turn the chains over.
I probably should have given you a better introduction coming into this game, being at your first high school football game of the week here on SportsCanada.TV. Former offensive line coach with the new Westminster High-Ax. Congratulations on the big Subway Bowl. I called that one last year.
I heard that call. Very good call.
What a finish.
I mean, I guess we gave you some good material, but
yes,
very good call.
Thank you very much. And now starting up a new program, AAA program at Sullivan Heights in Surrey. This is year number 1 for you guys.
Yep.
How's the season going so far?
Well, we're taking our lumps a little bit. It's tough to hit the ground running in high school football, especially when you're in a community and an area that hasn't ever had high school football.
Sure.
We've got enough, we've got a JV and a varsity team. We've got enough kids playing, which is awesome. We're really happy about the numbers. But I would say, I think between the two teams, we had 10 to 12 kids in the entire program that had played any kind of football before.
Okay.
And those guys were all community guys. So, that in itself is a learning curve. This is a pretty big step up in competition from the high school ages in community football these days. Community very strong until high school, and then high school kind of takes over. So even those guys are having a pretty steep learning curve, and then the brand new guys, obviously, that one goes without saying. So
always great to start up new programs. As we have a 2nd and 10 here, it's a handoff, and good tackle quickly down. That's Hosseini into the mix.
And it does bear mentioning, by the way, we're not the only new program in the province this year. We've got Starter Secondary out in Chilliwack has started up too.
Right.
Coach Adam Smith out there they look strong and healthy off the hop. They only have the one team right now, although I know that there are plans in the works to have a JV out there in the future. But really good news for BC high school football and for football in general in a time where participation's waning a bit across the country, and there are some programs that are struggling with their health.
Well,
so
a lot of concern around tackling and concussions and all the rest of it. I want to see those numbers stay up here at the high school level, and congratulations to you and to the program out at Sardis. And might as well get it in now if you want to stay up to date on everything that goes on in high school football or high school sports for that matter. Make sure you check out my man Howard Samura, who I'm sure is lingering around the Buchanan Bowl here somewhere. FirstCityLetters.ca for Howard Samura's website, and great stuff powered by the Langley Event Center.
So Handsworth's going to get busted on something that I saw in player introductions. I'm surprised it lasted this long. They were playing a player with number 95 on the offensive line. You can't do that in high school football. That is an eligible number in the 90s.
I thought it was a little... here's a double reverse. It's White on the carry. He's trapped in the back. Almost lost the football and goes down deep.
And guess who?
Yeah.
Mahyar Hosseini. He sniffed that thing right out. I have been really impressed watching this kid. With that number thing, how do you not know that?
I don't know.
And how does it take until halfway through the second quarter for the referees to know that?
Yeah, interesting.
And I can tell you too, being a head coach myself, when you do your pregame meeting with the referees, he asks you a series of questions. One of them is are all your players properly numbered?
Yeah.
And you actually have the opportunity. Usually, if you have one where you look like we ran out of uniforms in that size or whatever, I've got a number 30 who plays on the offensive line a little bit. They'll usually kind of roll their eyes and be like, "Come on," and I say to them like, "He's not going downfield. It's not funny business. I just didn't have another uniform for him." But I have no idea how that slips through.
So a big loss on third down brings up about fourth down and about 25 here as Benedict standing on his own goal line to kick this one away. Just got it away. It's a short kick. Step up on it at the 30. A spin move. A break to the outside. Trying to get the edge and shoved out of bounds. Down, around the 15, it looks like. They're going to mark him out of bounds. Pretty good return there by Benavente.
And despite the scoreline, that Handsworth offense continues to look like they're stuck in neutral a little bit. I mentioned even when it was 12-0, I mentioned like that Handsworth offense that looked discombobulated throughout. They've already taken 2 delayed game penalties. I mean, there's just they've got little going right now, and now they had to pump backed up. Look, the punter wasn't overly comfortable because he just popped a short one up in the air, and now all of a sudden, a nice field position if you're the Carson Graham Eagles, starting on the +20.
Yes, they will mark it down on the 20-yard line. McMillan. Yes, Hosseini in his backfield. 2 and 2 in there. High snap. Hosseini, bad timing, but just to get the handoff into his paws and falls forward for a couple.
Hosseini, one of those guys who is a good enough athlete that you just want to find a way to get him the ball, get him some touches, and see what he can do. I've joked at times, it's amazing how good you can look as a coach when you have sick athletes. So
yes, indeed. Should probably also note the JV Carson Graham Eagles victorious over Handsworth in the JV game. I think that was 32-25 the final.
Something like that, one-score game.
In that one, Hosseini on the carry once again, and good pursuit to the football by the Royals. Once again, limited gain will bring up a third down.
Interesting to see what Coach Brian Brady has in the story here. This is, I would say, based on his precedent, 4-down territory for him, especially with it being a game where 3 points doesn't really help you that much right now.
What do you think here, Gord Randall? More fans for Handsworth, more fans for Carson. Who's been louder?
I've been impressed at how big the Handsworth section is. I mean, we are here at Carson Graham, so I figured that we'd be seeing a lot more red than blue, but it's pretty much half and half here. I've been impressed with the traveling turnout.
Well, we have to walk literally across the street to get to campus here at Carson Graham. Third down, McMillan trying to buy some time. Will use his legs to do that, looking downfield. Now he's going to tuck it away, and he's going to be short of the first down. Is again good pursuit to the football there from Handsworth, stopping the Carson Graham quarterback for a limited gain.
Again, though, like I said, if you're Brian Brady, this is 4-down territory for you. you're playing to pick up half of that yardage. He didn't quite get there, so it's looking like about a 4th and 4 here. Interesting to see what Brady does. He went to the air last time on 4th down. And he's called a timeout so he can decide what he wants to do here.
A timeout coming with 5:33 to go here at halftime.
Also interesting, Logan Widener coming off the field, one of the guys that in this part of the field I would probably like to make use of as a coach. So
yeah, I don't think you want to take him off if you don't have to. As this is the BC High School football game of the week. And timeout right now for Carson.
And everything's in place for these two schools for it to be a classic rivalry. Obviously the proximity factor, but even just the color schemes and the branding of the two schools. You know, Carson Graham is part of its pickup area is the local First Nations community. So there's a lot more First Nations impact. In fact, Brian Brady, the head coach, is an Aboriginal support teacher at the school here. The Eagles is their branding, very, very steeped in First Nations culture. Handsworth, on the other hand, the loyalist side, right? The Handsworth Royals. Yeah. You've got the gold helmets versus the red and white. It just, all those little extra things,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and there's a lot of schools within this. Argyle, West Van. There's a bunch of schools in a 10, 15-minute proximity of each other. It makes this Western Conference so fun because all these teams know each other and all these kids know each other so well, playing community sports with and against each other as well. McMillan over the middle, and a little hand on the back of Lifton will draw the flag here, and it's going to be an automatic first down.
Yeah, definitely an early pull there from the defense back. Looking at number 10, Shannon Javadi, with the early pull there, and that one was a pretty easy call. Good break for the Eagles.
I want to mention next week, the BC High School football game of the week. South Delta will take on Vancouver College from the campus of Van College. That will be a 1:30 kickoff, and my man Alex Kerrigan will have the call on that one, as I have Langley Rams and Vancouver Island Raiders from McLeod Athletic Park at the same time.
That one should be a humdinger, as the kids say these days.
The old slobber knocker.
Yeah, South Delta currently on the field at home versus the defending provincial champion, New Westminster High X, my old buddies.
So
and Vancouver College won again last night. They look strong again this year. So.
And number 1 and number 2, Tweedsmuir, Terry Fox, who came out on top of that one.
Tweedsmuir won that one.
Yeah, so
Tweedsmuir won that one. Yeah, tight game. It was I think 2 field goals was the entirety of the scoring in the second half. Yeah, and those two teams are both very good and loaded with athletes. So top end this year looks strong.
Fox will always be there in the end, but Tweedsmuir, I'm telling you, have some weapons. Here's the pitch to Husseini, and he'll take it into the end zone for a touchdown for the Eagles. And we are tied now at 12 after a nice little pitch there from McMillan to Hosseini. And he did the rest.
This is something that Carson Graham, when we came up here last year at the High Axe to play these guys, the top 2 quarterbacks for the Eagles were hurt. They went to like entirely a wildcat offense, and they were actually able to run the ball with authority. So there is the potential, and Hosseini was one of the guys that led that attack. So there is the potential to be a good ground game here for the Eagles, and for an air raid style offense, that's where they've made hay here this afternoon.
I don't know what happened, Gord, but in our little section of the stands here, people are starting to clear away from us. I don't mind it. The noise is at a much better level, but I don't know if it's us or whether we did. So people are moving away from us.
I did shower this morning.
2-point conversion is good. And they'll take the lead here, 14-12.
So there's some insight into how Brian Brady feels about his field goal team, as that was a tie game before that 2-point conversion. So kicking the PAT would have given them the lead. He decided to go for 2 anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really, I don't know if the book, is that thunder that we're hearing there, Gord Randall?
I think that's just the wind whipping through our headphones here.
Okay, maybe the threat of rain has been kind of lingering around all afternoon here, but we're dry as we speak right now. And after a very slow start here for Carson Graham, 2 straight touchdowns, including a 2-point conversion, have them in front by 2, 14-12. As they'll give the ball back here to Handsworth.
And Handsworth really needs to settle in here. They need to give it another shot on offense and try and get something moving. Like I said, the field appears like they've been stuck in neutral for a lot of the afternoon, and now they've coughed up that 12-point lead they had.
Here's the kickoff. It goes deep. And I almost thought that player was playing barefoot for a second. He's doing with the no sock look down there.
That was strange looking. It almost looked like somebody who hadn't returned a kick before, the way he was addressing that kick. And then for those of you that don't know, because he caught it with a knee on the ground, it's immediately dead. A good safety rule.
Yep.
But now, if you're Handsworth, you're stuck deep in your own end again.
Really looked like he had time to step up on that football and take it on the run, and he just kind of froze on it for a half second.
And he had his hands out like he was catching something else. It was kind of interesting. It looked like he was not comfortable
doing like the old
there.
egg toss or something. Anyways, it'll be 1st and 10 here for the Royals. 5:20 to go to halftime now. But pinned back deep once again in the 1st and 10 from about the 15. And whistles before the play ever starts, and I think we got a timeout Royals here.
Yeah, Coach White with a timeout here.
So
later on in the half here, by the way, you already have a dead clock. You're not happy as a coach taking a timeout.
No, especially on a possession change. That's the last thing you want to do. We'll take a quick timeout as well. This is the BC High School Football Game of the Week on SportsCanada.TV. Stick around.
Pots.
All right, welcome back. 1st and 10 here out of the timeout for Handsworth. As Jensen will work out of the shotgun. He'll work to his left, look downfield, now load up the gun, fire into double coverage once again. Flag comes in, and White looking around for the flag will look over his shoulder and see it there at the 41-yard line. Again into double coverage there, but also a flag deep back downfield. And again, we could see a situation where these flags just offset each other, and we'll line it up for 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and Logan Widener causing havoc in the backfield there, big number 99. It looks like he drew the holds. They got the pass interference call on White, but they offset, and Handsworth unfortunately can't get out of their own way right now.
Well, that's part of it. In order to give that receiver enough time to get downfield to throw that deep ball, those linemen got to hold up those defensive linemen. And when you got to do that, more often than not, you're going to get called in a holding call.
Mm-hmm. Especially against a good, big defensive line at Carson Graham.
So we'll move the ball over to the right hash here. As the Royals break the huddle over on the left hash and realize where the football is. I'm not really sure why they moved that football over. I guess that's where the original holding call came from. But it'll be,
I don't know either.
1st and 10 on the offsetting penalties. Here's the pitch. And King tackled after a gain of a few.
No, looking like Richard White and his offense, they want to try and get this ground game going, and just been tough sledding for them so far.
Yeah, I think it's something they've been trying to do all season long and just haven't really got the traction that they're looking for.
And last weekend it was a wet weekend. It was they played Friday against New Westminster, and it was ugly out there. So out of necessity, had to revert to a bit more of a run-heavy attack.
The field was ugly. You're not talking about New Westminster being ugly. You're talking about the field being ugly. I just want to clarify on that. Yeah. The Royal City. Come on. Yeah. 2nd and 8, let's say. High snap. Jansen over the middle, floating one, and oh man.
No, I saw that call. That was a subtle pull from the defensive back there.
Okay.
But you could see the jersey on 87 stretching out. as that ball was in midair. So
I think my probably protest for it all is it came late. Like, if you're going to throw that flag, throw it
when it happens
right away, not wait for the ball to drop incomplete to make sure that.
One of the things the referee has to check on too is he has to determine whether that ball was a catchable ball before the interference as well. So that may have been what he's waiting on there. One thing to point out, by the way, that game wasn't played in New West. Okay. That game was played at Handsworth on a natural surface, and I know that we were scheduled to play them in JV a couple weeks prior, and the city had shut their field down. So the field was not in great condition for that affair.
North Van, also a beautiful city, so we're clear on that. As the clock stops at 4:18, it'll be a fresh set of downs out to the 31-yard line here. And now the Royals, who led at 12-0, now trailing 14-12, trying to orchestrate a drive here, heading towards halftime. Empty backfield, and a high snap, got over the head of Jensen, who wisely does what you're taught to do in that situation. That's just fall on top of the football and keep possession.
Now, I like what Richard White's doing with the formation there. It's too bad that play couldn't get off the ground, but you can see how Carson Graham is defending Keelan White, which is that they've got him doubled. They've got a safety who's dedicated entirely to Keelan White's side. So, and I try and do this a bit myself with maybe not the success I want yet.
Don't give away all your tips here, Coach.
You want to try and isolate your stud receiver if you figure out that they are overplaying him in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't necessarily have to be double coverage. But what he did there is he ran trips away from Keelan White, isolated him on the back side. Now you have to show that you can make hay with your other guys to try and open it up for your guy.
Bit of a chess game, and really that's high school football in a nutshell.
So we see that again here. You can see that safety over on the far side of the field over top of Keelan White by himself on the left, offensive left.
Indeed. And it is 2nd and 20. They'll come to the near side. Completion made. Nice little bubble screen. Trying to break away from the pack. And brought down was Steele Young, but got back close to the original line of scrimmage. I like the play design there on the wide receiver bubble screen. Worked well for Steele Young.
And exactly what I was pointing out, they're trying to take what they've gotten on the open side there because they had a 3 versus 2 basically. But Peyton Leach makes a really nice tackle, knifes through the blockers to pull down the receiver there. And that could have been a big play had he not been able to make that tackle because there was nobody deep on this side of the field.
So it's close to a gain of 9. Let's call it 3rd and 11 here for the Royals. Trying to keep this drive going with 2.5 to go to recess here. But a big 3rd down coming here for both teams. 4-man front. Pressure comes. Pass is complete to White. Going to stay on his feet. He's knocked out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage.
It's actually Michael Donoto, 14, not 13.
Excuse me.
And that's just taking what the defense has given you. Carson Graham knows it's 3rd and long yardage, so they were playing really loose coverage there. Hands were just trying to take what they can get. And with ticking down to 2 minutes on the clock, they'll happily punt this ball away. I'm actually a little surprised Brian Brady's not calling a timeout here.
4th and 10, and yeah, the clock's still running. Clock's still running here, and Handsworth in no particular hurry, and why would they be? As it's Jay Duke standing back to return here at his own 30. And again, Handsworth taking up as much time as they possibly can. I want to ask you about this. With no play clocks down on the field here on the internal clock, how do you keep track of that as a coach? Let's watch the return here as it'll skip out of bounds around the 33.
Typically the back judge on the field, so in the defensive backfield, will start holding up his hand at, depending on the crew, 10 or 5 seconds left on the clock. Okay. Usually it's 5. So that gives you a nice little heads up. Okay, we're getting down low on the clock. The other thing in a situation like that where you're trying to run the clock, if you have a timeout in your pocket, what I usually do is I'll tell the line judge on my sideline, when this gets to 1 second on the play clock, I want a timeout.
I just wondered if there was like a count out loud or something so these guys knew when they break the huddle exactly how much time that they have to snap the football.
And some of the upper echelon programs in this province do have play clocks on the field. That being said, again, having been in New West, they're one of them.
Spoiled.
And theirs seems to malfunction every other week. So half the time the referee's just keeping time on his watch anyway.
So 1:24 to go to halftime now as the Eagles get the football back on their own 32. And we'll try and get something downfield here quickly. McMillan will throw, lift, and trying to adjust to the football. It was behind him and low. When it falls incomplete, it'll be 2nd and 10.
McMillan, Coach Brian Brady was talking about him. He and Hosseini both played as grade 9s on the Carson Graham 2015 provincial championship team. Now, they were still in AA at that point in time, but he said that their football smarts, because those guys have been playing at a high level for 4 years now, is off the charts, and that's one of the reasons why they're, the key leaders on this team.
And now if you're Carson Graham with 1:18 to go in a second and long, you got to be smart with the football here. McMillan going to drop back to pass, fires one out there. It's caught. And quickly wrapped up there by Young out on the edge. After the catch was made from Liam Scott, but pretty good form tackling out there as well to stop that one for a limited game.
Yeah, that's a strong rally to the ball by Steele Young, a guy that I'm actually surprised we haven't heard a little more from on offense. He was the one running that screen on their second last offensive play, but a guy that was identified to me as probably their next best offensive player after Keelan White. Also, as you can see there, pretty good defensive back, able to put his foot in the ground and come upfield. So Brian Brady's going to stop the clock here now with 1:06 on the clock, and I think that's the first one he's used. So he does have some time to work with here, but they got to turn the chains. Turn the chains over.
Yeah, it'll be a 3rd and 9 with 1:06 to go, and it's a bit of a fine line as a coach to call that timeout there. If you don't get the first down here, you're going to still have close to a minute to work with here for Handsworth, and that's a long time. Yeah, you want to preserve time, but you got to complete the first down. You got to move the chains here if you're Carson. Otherwise, this timeout that they're calling could work really against them.
And this is, I was talking about 4-down territory early on. With the situation where you are on the field, this is 3-down territory. You do not want to risk going for it on 4th down in this situation. I don't think, at least. I'm not in Brian Brady's head, but so you are looking for something to get to the sticks here. Anything short is useless to you.
Well, let's see what they do here in a 3rd and 9. It'll be McMillan to throw. Now McMillan to fire a wide open man. It's Lifton. Flag down at the 35. Lifton has enough for a first down, but let's check the penalty. It looked like McMillan was going to run that ball and then decided to throw. He might have been across the line of scrimmage when he threw the football, and that'll bring it back. Is that a clock runoff too? Well, maybe not.
It can be.
Yeah.
It's the choice of the coach on the other side, and that's a new rule this year. But yeah, that'll be an illegal forward pass. It's going to be loss of yardage and loss of down. So now you have to punt if you're the Eagles, and that's too bad because it was about a half yard. Now, the line judges on both sides both threw that flag, so not going to question the call, but it was close.
So now Handsworth is going to get the football back here with 53 seconds to go. White standing around his 41-yard line. You know he can make things happen. And if you're Carson Graham, you better get downfield and cover quickly. Scott with the kick, angles it sideline. And a really well done punt there as it rolls out of bounds. 0 on the return, as you can't really kick it much better than that.
And that's a really good job by the punter, too. Pulled down a high snap, had a free rusher in his face. That, of course, being
Liam Scott.
Theo Benedette, on the block team, who seems to be the guy around the ball on the defensive side of the ball for Handsworth at all times almost. But really good kick there. And to have it out of bounds away from Keelan White is also key.
Well, let's see. 45 seconds to go to halftime now as Handsworth will get the football back one more time.
And let's see if that timeout that I pointed out earlier that Richard White had to blow comes back to haunt Handsworth here, as they only have, I think, 2 in pocket still.
Sure. From the 35. Jensen wipes off the hands. 2 receivers near side, 1 to the high. And 1 in the near side slot here as well. Clap the hands, take the snap, look downfield, nobody open. Roll out near sideline, pump fake, nowhere to go with it, and wrapped up and taken down. And just got to get rid of that football. You can't hang on to that ball there. As Jay Duke came in to wrap up, I'm not sure what Jensen was thinking, just outside the tackle box, throw the ball across the line of scrimmage and out of bounds. And
that's another one. You can see the body language from Richard White as he immediately called a timeout. He's already on the field here. They're going to have to reset that clock because that clock should be at about 40 seconds and not 30. But, you can see his body language. He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like he rolled out for about 7 seconds there, looking downfield. And it was all wrong there. Like, you either got to...
And it was an easy throwaway. Like, he had room at times there.
And instead got tackled inbounds behind the line of scrimmage. And about everything that could go wrong except turning the football over there for Jensen and the Royals. And I think that play started with about 43 seconds, so I don't think there can be 40. It doesn't look like any complaint from either team on putting time back up, so I think they'll leave it right there at 30 seconds.
Worth noting, too, depending on how the officiating crew wants to do it, that may or may not be the official time on the clock that we're seeing right now either. But if I'm Richard White, I want those seconds back.
Yeah, absolutely. 2nd and 13 here.
And he should, too, because he was literally on the field when it said 38 on the clock.
Okay. Jensen, low snap this time, picks it up off the deck, throws, it's low, and it's caught. And limited gain there, maybe back to the original line of scrimmage. And they'll have to call another timeout here. As White out onto the field once again, and finally they do get the timeout. And I always find this interesting at the high school level as well, where usually college, pro, whatever the case is, you'll see timeout call in the field. The quarterback will go to the sideline and talk to the coach, where high school, the coach comes running out onto the field into his team's huddle. Is there a reason for that at the high school level?
Well, it's easier to have one person in transition than multiple people, and usually, like I know for me, half the time I want to get out to the huddle and I either want to calm my kids down or we're trying to figure out a personnel thing. It's you want to end up in the middle of the huddle so you can talk to all your guys and make sure everybody's on the right page and all that kind of stuff.
Just thought they'd maybe have some sort of rule about the coach being out on the field as much as they are, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You play within the rules that you're given, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Both coaches will hustle to the sideline here as we line up for a 3rd and 10. 22 seconds to go to halftime. Maybe the Eagles might get the football back one more time.
Possible. This has got to be a punt if they get stopped here.
Looking to bring pressure off the edge here, it looks like. Pump fake, and there's the sack.
So what does Brian Brady do here? He's got a timeout left.
Sam Hoare busting through and wrapping up, and I think they're just going to let time run.
Yep.
And get to halftime here at Kinsman. And the Eagles of Carson Graham will take a 2-point lead into the locker room here over the Handsworth Royals. In the 32nd annual Buchanan Bowl, we're at halftime. 24 minutes down, 24 to play. 14-12, Carson Graham leads Handsworth. They're on the BC High School Football Game of the Week on bchighschoolfootball.com and SportsCanada.TV. Jake Elliott, Gord Randall with you. At the break, we're back in 10 minutes to break down that opening half and look forward to half number 2. Take a break, and we'll talk to you in 10 minutes. Stick around. football fans, you can hear it. It's time for second half action. Benedict, kick it off. Let's play some football. Angles it down towards the 10-yard line. And good cut up the sideline and still on his feet as he gets out close to the 42-yard line. Jay Duke, a nice juke on the opening kickoff return of the second half. 14-12 Eagles lead this football game. They got down 12-0 to the Handsworth Royals on a crazy offensive play that went for about 60 yards after being tipped around a bunch of times, and then a pick six got them out to that 12-0 lead. But since that time, Carson Graham has really kind of taken over control of this game field position-wise. They've got 2 scores to their credit. They now have the 2-point lead and the football here to start the third quarter. As McMillan to throw, lift in on the catch, tucks it away in the right arm and draws a little contact out near the 50-yard line as he hears it from the Royals fans. But good play on first down there, and after a bit of a slow start for Carson Graham, have got their legs under him and looking good here in the 32nd Annual Buchanan Bowl. It's Jake Elliott, Gordon Randall with you here for the BC High School Football Game of the Week. Vancouver College and South Delta next week. From Van College, Alex Kerrigan will have the call on that one. As good catch out on the edge once again. Liam Scott getting into the action really for the first time this afternoon. I haven't called out his name from the wide receiver position a whole lot here.
No, we haven't. We've been talking about him more so as the guy who has been quarterbacking the Eagles in McMillan's absence. But I know Brian Brady told me that he is at his best when he's a receiver, and they are at their best when he's that receiver.
Oh, he wanted that ball, but they'll look the other side, and it's a touchdown for the Eagles. Ethan Smith on the reception walks it into the end zone, and Carson Graham will go up 20-12.
Well, they made that look easy, didn't they? It was
1, 2, 3 plays down the field they went, and it all started with a good return to start the half. And into the end zone they go.
And so much of football at this level is who's ready to go after breaks. So who's ready to go right at the beginning of the game? Who's ready to go right at the beginning of the second half? You know, we've struggled with that with our guys being ready to go right at the beginning of the game. But you know, right now it looked like Handsworth just wasn't quite ready to go to begin that second half. Carson Graham sure was, though.
Absolutely. And they'll line up for an extra point here. Here comes pressure. They got it away. And extra kick is good. And good thing they got that netting up there. That pigskin may fly, keep flying all the way to West Vancouver if they have that netting up behind the uprights there.
Yeah, and there's a big ravine back there, too. You don't want to kick a football into.
No.
So.
I'm sure it's happening. That's probably why they got the netting up. But after an impressive return, a good opening drive to start the third quarter, and then now 21-12 here. And with that extra point, they make it a 2-score game.
Handsworth needs an immediate
crucial,
punch
right?
back there.
9-score
They need an immediate punch back there.
And Gord, before this opening, I know you wanted to touch, they had a little halftime game going on here with the GSL athletes out on the field at halftime. I know you wanted to talk quickly about that.
Well, you know, it's just such a great event out here, and one of the things they included was it looked like junior bantam-age kids from the Gordon Sturtridge League, which is community football up here on the North Shore, a league specific to the North Shore. And it's one of the reasons why you have such a strong football community here in the North Shore. 4 high school programs going strong. GSL has been a big part of that.
Offside here on Carson Graham. That'll be a procedure call. And they'll back him up for this kick as they're still packed in here to Kinton Field at the Buchanan Bowl. We still haven't got confirmation on what the all-time record is here in the 32nd Annual Buchanan Bowl. I can tell you the last 4 out of 5 meetings between these two teams here in the Buchanan Bowl have been decided by less than 3 points, with the exception being last year. And the scoreline, I'm told from Coach Brady, was the game was much closer than what the score indicated. So right now it's a 9-point spread for the Eagles, who have scored 21 unanswered points as they went for the onside kick and now kick deep. And again, a bit of an awkward catch on the kick return here, but a good return on the return, if you will. That coming from Jarrett Harry. Harry Jarrett.
Yeah, it's interesting. We talked about Keelan White. Interesting where they use him on that kick return. He's not one of their 2 deep returners, so I wonder if that's a game planning thing for Handsworth, where they've seen that Carson Graham doesn't typically like to kick deep, or they're just kind of experimenting with moving him around to see if they can find ways to get teams kicked to him. Because I can guarantee teams doing everything possible not to kick to that kid.
Well, I was just about to say, I'm pretty sure if he was deep back there, they're going to kick away from him anyway. So maybe they find him more effective being upfield a little bit.
And that's one of those situations as a coach where your second guy becomes more important than your first guy, and making sure your second guy is up to speed. I mean, if he's back deep, Steele Young, number 1, is the other returner, I would think. And he's a pretty good athlete too, so a little surprised. But again, like I said, that might be a game planning thing.
1st and 10 here for the Royals. Down 9 now as they start this drive from the 40-yard line. And it's a low snap. Jensen looking, gets pressured and gets sacked all the way back at the 26-yard line. Guess who?
Man, I know this feeling. If you're Richard White, you just you feel like you have nothing going, and you're going, okay, well, what am I throwing at the wall next?
Hosseini busting through with a couple of other Eagles, but it was number 3 in red who made the play, made the sack, as he adds to his total. As he came into the game just with 1 sack on the season, which I find very hard to believe, quite frankly, with that amount of tackles. But they got to get to the 50-yard line for a first down now. They're all the way back at the 27. Jensen out of the shotgun once again. 2-step drop, looks deep down this near sideline, a little pushing out there, and here comes the flag.
That one's a pretty easy call for the officials.
Yeah, just took his man off his stride and was unable to get it to Steele Young.
One thing I don't like as a head coach, though, that's 2 times now that Handsworth receiver has come up doing the old, oh, where's the call?
Yeah,
you know, I hate that kind of stuff.
They're supposed to take that out of the game, right? Isn't that
at the higher levels? They have put a penalty. I think it's in the CFL. They put a penalty in.
You're not allowed to make the throw the flag motion anymore, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Mind you, they called that pretty tightly for a while, but they almost seem to have kind of backed up. It's just really human nature to get up but it was almost happening every single play guys were doing it, trying to draw the flag.
No, that was the running joke, is that every receiver, if it was an incomplete pass, they were calling for PI. Yeah. If it was a complete pass, the DB was calling for PI.
Right. A little confusion on the line of scrimmage here, making sure they got enough bodies on the line. Long count here. Look out. Live football as they snap it past Jensen. And the Eagles are going to fall on it. Oh, my. Malfunction at the junction there for the Handsworth Royals.
Yikes.
And that will drive Coach White up the wall.
That's it looked like one of the receivers there was having trouble getting lined up. Didn't know he was supposed to be on the line of scrimmage. It looked like he'd finally gotten lined up on the line of scrimmage.
And Jensen just didn't seem satisfied with it. He kept kind of saying, no, move up more, move up more. And the center just snapped the football without the quarterback looking.
And it's funny because there was a split second of Jensen being like, what the? Yeah. Oh, wait, that's a live ball.
Yeah, it's not practice right now. That's live game action. Ball at the 26 here for the Eagles as they start this drive now. McMillan, look out. Pusher comes, and he's dropped in the backfield. And, man, did the Royals ever need that play, as it's Bokic coming through for the quarterback sack.
Shrimala Bokic coming off the edge free, and just Handsworth bringing some pressure, and Carson not having the right play in to get the ball out quick.
But I almost don't mind that from McMillan. Had nowhere to go with the football. Instead of trying to make something happen or do something silly, just ate it and took the sack and lived to play another day.
Yeah, turnovers kill you. Sacks don't necessarily kill you.
There's a completion. And gets about 7 back, close to the original line of scrimmage. And we'll bring up about a 3rd and 11 here for Carson Graham.
You know, it's interesting. Statistically, Lifton has been it's been in balanced attack coming into this game for Carson, but statistically, Lifton's been the guy today they've really been going to. Now, I know Brian Brady mentioned.
Oh, and that's going to be a free 5 yards here for Carson Graham, as Handsworth tried to time up the blitz and didn't do a very good job of it.
So one of the moving pieces, one of the factors involved in this affair too, is that the JV teams played right before this, so they've done it as a doubleheader, which means that if you had guys that would normally play both, you cannot have them play both when it's in the same day.
Okay.
So I know
what's the rule on that? So if they're JV age, do they have to play JV, or can they get called up and just play senior ball?
They could.
Okay.
They could. Now, generally, you don't want to tell your JV guys that they don't matter, though. You know?
Yeah. Here's McMillan. He's going to be sacked again.
So it's ultimately up to the importance of the individual player to their respective teams. So at varsity, you're making a call. Okay, well, can I replace this guy without there being a huge drop-off? Your normal rule in a week is if the games are on different days, the kids are allowed to play up to 6 quarters a week.
Okay.
So you do have to limit them at one level either way. When they're in the same day, it's only 4 quarters. So I know Brian Brady told me they had a couple guys that would be part of their offense that were not playing because they played in the JV game, for example.
Makes sense. And another sack there. That was Colpitt on the quarterback attack, and bring up a 4th down here.
So now it's the Carson Graham offense that looks a little bit discombobulated up front and needs to get their stuff together. Now it looks like Brian Brady's keeping them on the field. I like the decision. Go for the kill shot here, and we've seen it doesn't appear like he has a whole lot of faith in his field goal team. So
yeah, and I always find that so interesting at the high school. Like, I honestly feel like if you could develop a good kicking game at the high school level, you could literally win yourself some games if you had a stud punter, kickoff guy, and a field goal guy, because it just makes your decision process so much easier when you know you're confident within 30 yards or 40 yards or whatever to line up and put points on the board time after time. Instead, you got to go with these 4th down gambles, and it's McMillan trying to make it happen, and I think he's got enough for a 1st down.
So there's a perfect example of live by the sword, die by the sword for Handsworth, as they brought the house again there, had some free rushers, but Carson Graham slid their protection, picked it up on the left, so McMillan had a nice escape route and turned over the sticks easily for the 1st down, and now they're knocking on the door on the 10-yard line here.
1st and goal from the 10. McMillan barking. Here's the snap, handoff up the middle, and Hosseini nowhere to go as he's stacked up by 3 Royals defenders.
Full credit to the Handsworth defense, by the way.
They've really stepped up here on this drive.
Really tightened up and made it tough sledding for Carson Graham. And this is a crucial drive for them. Like, they need to find a way to keep this from being another touchdown, because with the clock ticking down, we're almost halfway through the 3rd quarter already here. I mean, it could be a backbreaker if they give up another 6 here.
Yeah, I think if you can get off the field just surrendering 3 here, you take that as a victory for
Absolutely.
Handsworth after the big turnover. Cock the right leg, send the man in motion. Across the formation he'll come. That's Ethan Smith. It's the pitch to Hosseini, cuts it back up inside again. The Handsworth defense there to make the stop, and it'll bring up a 3rd and goal. And that interior line for Handsworth is really starting to play stout. They've got a couple of sacks, stopping the run nicely, and now bring up a 3rd and long here.
Well, and this is where the offensive coach needs to go deep into their playbook, and you either need to go with something that has been working all day,
or something they haven't run yet.
Yes.
Here's the snap. McMillan, pump fakes, now flushed out. Now he'll throw, and it's incomplete, but multiple flags flying. It looked like pretty good defense. Spin it in there as well, but referees will get together and talk this one over.
I'm wondering if they're going to get a defensive hold there on the player that McMillan was trying to dump the ball down to.
An eligible man downfield. Well, this will back them up, but it'll stay 3rd down here, and Carson Graham will get another crack at it.
A little surprised with the lack of faith that Brady has in his field goal team, that Richard White wouldn't back them up here. A little surprised. Now, it is 4th down now. And it looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field, so I guess it's the right call.
I found a little interesting, and something that Carson Graham seemed to be pretty successful in the opening half was McMillan running that read pass option and keeping the ball, running the football. But now they're going to line up for 3 here as Ethan Smith is the kicker, McMillan the holder. As it'll come for about 18 yards out. Bad snap, and kick is low and no good. And the Handsworth Royals defense is going to get off the field here, not surrendering any points. That is huge there for the Royals.
So declining that penalty is essentially Richard White calling Brian Brady's bluff and going, I don't think that you can make this field goal. And he was right.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think it was Smith's leg by any means. I think there was a bad snap there. They just didn't get the ball down. The timing got thrown off.
And it hasn't been great protection the couple times we've seen that team too, and that can always throw your kicker off as well. So big stop for Handsworth, and they've got some life here now. They got to get the offense in gear.
Still in this football game, down 9 points. 6:54 to go, third quarter. Handsworth gets the football back, and here's the quick snap to Jensen. A little misdirection. And good play design, up and over. And close to 8 yards.
And that's going to be a flag. You are not allowed to do that versus a standing defender. You are not allowed to hurdle. Another safety-oriented rule. Unless the defender is down, you are not allowed to hurdle a defender. And you can see why, right?
Well,
you can see why, right? He gets hit in midair there. If that defender hits him the right way, he's coming straight down on his head from about 8 feet in the air.
But it's such an exciting play. Do you want to take that out of the game? I guess you do at the high school level.
I mean, I think sometimes there are bigger priorities, right?
The hurdle is really kind of becoming an en vogue play in football. Guys going down low to tackle, and guys almost baiting defenders to go low just so they can hurdle them.
Yep.
But, yeah, I think at the high school level, that's probably the safe and the right call.
In general, I'm a let him play type of guy.
So it's on the hurdler for doing that.
Correct.
Okay. Well,
and Keelan White should know that too.
I'm sure he does. And maybe that's just a reaction play out of him.
Sometimes it is, absolutely. And to be honest, there are very few athletes in the province that could even have the athleticism to even think about attempting something like that.
So Handsworth gets backed up. I don't even know what do you call that penalty? Unsportsmanlike conduct?
I'm not sure what the actual foul is called. I know it's a penalty.
All right.
Is that good enough?
Yeah. Well, not really. But if
Didn't
you
do
want me
enough
to be
my
honest
homework,
with
I guess.
you,
Yeah. Can't spoon feed you everything, Jay.
Right. I'll look it up in my rule book when I get home. As they're backed up deep now to the 10-yard line here for Jensen, who stands back at around his 5. Takes the shotgun snap, looks over the middle, looks deep over the middle, down, and that pass is caught inside the boundary. Steele Young and another big gainer gets it out close to the 40-yard line. What a nice delivery there from Jensen to Steele Young.
Hell of a play. That's a really great play by Steele Young, a guy who's only about 5'8". He elevates to get up above the defender and gets his feet down in bounds. A really athletic play by number 1 in White there. And he's a guy that is key to that Handsworth offense because he's the guy that will be on the other side from Keelan White and has those one-on-one matchups a lot of the time that he needs to take advantage of. Did so there.
And I'll give you an idea of our broadcast location, our vantage point, if you will. That looked like it was over the middle of the field to me, when actually it was right up on the far boundary there. Regardless, it's a huge play that gets Handsworth out of the shadows of its own end zone, and Jensen wants to go quickly to the wide side, and look out, that Blue Coast there to break up that play as they look for Steele Young again. And if Steele Young doesn't get in the way of that, Blue Coast may be still running to the Carson Graham end zone.
Yeah, and that's something ideally you probably want your quarterback to put a little bit more air under the ball in that trajectory and try and sail it over the defender based on where the coverage was there. That's a tough read for a quarterback at this level, but
that's a tough throw for the quarterback as well.
For sure it
to
is.
The wide side.
Yep.
That's a long, hard throw to. That's a sketchy one as well. It's not one you want to call too often because if it's not complete, it's usually going back the other way for 6. 6:12 to go in the third quarter. It's 2nd and 10 from the 40. Jensen back off, split to his left. He'll look to this near side again. There's a better ball this time, and it's White. Trying to make a man miss. He'll cut it back across the field, and you can forget it. Touchdown Royals.
And that's what Keelan White does for the Handsworth Royals. If they can find a way to get him some space, he turns that space into house. And that's what he did there. As soon as he came down with that ball, I knew he was scoring. Like, there were 4 defenders in front of him, but with the amount of open field, I knew he was scoring.
Just turned a man inside out around the 45-yard line, and then it was forget it after that for Kieran White as he salutes the Handsworth crowd here at Kinsman.
I love the play design, too. They ran him on the wheel there, the double move, so I had him running a speed out, which he's been doing a bunch today, and then turn him upfield on the wheel. And he's such a good athlete that it's impossible to stay with those guys for a lot of people on a double move.
A lot of things have to come together on a wheel route like that. It's got to be a well-thrown ball. It's got to be a well-passed route run as well. And I think both the quarterback, Jensen, and White did their jobs there, and that's why that completion was made. Now with 3-score game here, it looks like they'll line up for an extra point. and try and make it a 2-score game. No real reason to go for 2 in this situation.
No, not in the American game where there aren't a lot of opportunities to go get a single point. If you were in the Canadian, like if you were doing your Rams game right now and it was 21-18, then maybe you go for 2, right? Because you're a field goal down right now.
And you got the Rouge too.
And you've got a Rouge too. So, but
speaking of Rams and Broncos coming up at 7 o'clock from McLeod Athletic Park, if you're
hauling down the highway for that one
in the area, I'm hoping maybe to squeeze in a meal in between games before I head out to Langley.
Hopefully the old Second Narrows Bridge a little cleaner than it was on the way up here.
Traffic coming in. We got here in time. And actually they are going to go for 2 here. Jensen, low snap, takes it off the turf. He's in trouble. Ball turned over. And that's a dead ball. As that one comes up empty, and again, they must just have zero confidence in their kicker to line up and go for 2 in that situation.
You know, it's a bugaboo for so many high school coaches is the shotgun snap. And in the era of air raid offenses, everybody being primarily shotgun, and that's my offense too. But it's just you have all these beautiful play designs, you have all these moving parts, everyone's rehearsed it to death, and then your center can't get the ball up off the ground, and it's a frustrating feeling sometimes, and it's a frustrating feeling for the kid too.
Well, on special teams as a whole, like, you only have so many hours in the week to practice.
Yes.
And you want to spend your majority of time, obviously, running your offense. So you don't dedicate a whole lot of time to special teams or the kicking game for that matter. And if you do dedicate that time to the kicking game, it's usually for coverage. Kick coverage is where you spend most of your time, not the actual execution of kicking the football. So
well, and few of these teams have proper kicking coaches. The other thing, too, is that few of these teams, and I don't just mean these 2 teams, I mean a lot of the top teams in this province, few of them have a specialized kicker, right? When you get to the next level, you have guys who are specialized kickers. That's all they practice.
That's what I'm saying, though, is how do you get to that next level and have those special – like, if you don't develop them at the high school level, how do they turn into that specialized player at the next level?
Wow.
Just something they're good at, I guess. Here's a big return on for the Eagles. And right up the middle, it's Jay Duke with a convoy to the house. He's going to go the distance. 20, 10, touchdown, Carson Graham. Oh, what an answer.
That was an absolutely remarkable play, Jake. While we were talking there, they kicked the ball off. Duke originally let it go because he thought it was going to go into the end zone. The ball took a U-turn at the 1-yard line and just sat there. He was about to walk off the field. He turned around, picked it up, and then turned it into 6 points. That was incredible.
99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown for Jay Duke.
That's a couple unbelievable plays that we've seen in this game today, Jake. That was crazy.
That's why you love high school football right there. Wow, explosive from Carson Graham, the home team here at the Buchanan Bowl.
And that's rough for Handsworth. I mean, you just felt like you were right back in it. Your guy makes a huge play. That's a huge momentum play for the offense too. It's not just you grinded something that feels good, but when your guy just makes an electric play like that, it's got that extra oomph to it, and then it just comes right back for you. Wow.
Devastating. Now, looks like they'll line up for another extra point attempt here. Again, Ethan Smith. And McMillan to hold. It'll come from the 10. High snap, got it down. Kick again, blocked.
The point after attempt is blocked.
And at this point now, you might just want to file it away and start taking your chances at 2s here if you're Carson Graham, because it's just not working.
Yeah, you might have to. I mean, so you want to play the numbers in your traditional logic. Traditional logic tells you kick one there, make it a 10-point game, because that's touchdown, converted touchdown and a field goal. But at some point, if you aren't confident you're going to get it, then you don't even bother trying. You try something that you're more confident in. Don't forget, you hit half of your 2-point conversions, and you're equal with hitting all of your PATs.
So after that missed extra point, 27-18. Back to a 9-point lead here, so it is a 2-score game for the Eagles. But it's been an entertaining Buchanan Bowl, that's for sure here. And I'm wondering, do they change venues each and every year, or is it always played on the campus of Carson Graham each year?
It is not always. They do change venues. It's not necessarily a perfect alternating thing, but especially with these teams in the same conference, they're scheduled to play each other anyway, so the scheduling is actually done by BC High School football.
So they'll move this kick up to the 45 as both fan bases battling back and forth. And we got 5:26 to go here in the third quarter. 27-18 Eagles now. And they go with the squibber off. That's a live football, and the Eagles got it.
Backbreaker for Handsworth.
The up man couldn't handle the football. That was Lou and Carson Graham in business once again.
Peyton Leach comes up with it, and I mean, you know, Handsworth, you've seen them, they kicked successfully short early on. They tried to kick short later on and went offside. You got to be more prepared for that at that point in time. What's the definition of insanity?
Something about doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
And that's a real shame for them, because I mean that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back here. If Carson Graham can put some more points on the board here, I mean it's
could spell the end. 5:24 to go. Quick snap, McMillan. Here comes pressure and a floater down this near sideline. About 5 yards too deep.
There's a new name. Constantine Struck, the intended receiver there. I like the call in terms of what they drew up. I'm not sure that I like who they were throwing to, but I'm going to guess they like the size of Struck on the sidelines there.
Well, neither team doing us any fair. One team listing first name first, last name last, and vice versa for the opposite team. So pay attention to that, Gordon Randall. As it'll be 2nd and 10 here from the 46. In between the hash marks for Carson Graham. Husseini in the backfield along with McMillan. And they'll look to throw. Now McMillan going to look to run. Makes a good cut. And looked like a face mask there, but no flag. Oh, no, there is a flag, but it comes back at the 50. I think it's going to be a holding call on the Eagles.
It is. And he was out close to the sticks there. That was another pretty good making something out of nothing by Carson McMillan. And you know, that kind of ability you just can't coach. You know, and it adds such an element to your offense when your quarterback can turn, you know, what in a lot of cases probably ends up as a negative play for a not so mobile quarterback, and turn that into positive yardage or even a saw-off. It's huge for your offense.
It must be nice to have McMillan at his services once again, as he was unable to go in the first couple of games due to illness. But back in there now. But they'll have a long way to go here on 2nd down. As they're backed up all the way to their own 40. Got to get to about the 36 of Handsworth for a first down. Long way to go. McMillan look to run again. Makes one man miss at the line of scrimmage. Stiff arms another. Lowers the pads and gets out close to the 49. Gain of probably close to 11.
I'm trying to figure out whether that was designed to pass. He took off so quickly there.
It wasn't a gain of 11. That was about a gain of 4.
Yeah, he took off so quickly there. I'm not sure if that was a designed run. I can't imagine it would be in 2nd and 20, but he must have seen something right off the hop that forced him out of the pocket there.
So now it's about a 3rd and 15 as a few droplets of rain starts to sprinkle. I think it'll be a factor in the rest of this one here with 4.5 minutes to go in the half. Here's the snap. McMillan over the middle, and pass came late. That's never a good idea, but the completion was made, but short. As Liam Scott made the catch, but he'll be about 6 yards short of a first down, but Carson Graham hustles to the line here. And it looks like they want to go on 4th down.
And Liam Scott, who is their punter, is out in the slot, so I don't expect that there's any kind of like pooch kick funny business going on here. Looks like the referees are sending a kid off for an equipment issue right now and essentially giving Handsworth a timeout right now. Carson Graham's frustrated. They want to go.
Looks like Colpitts had to substitute out. I think something askew on his helmet. As White trying to fire up the crowd here for this big 4th down play. Play of the game right here for the Eagles. And, got him to jump. That'll be a free 5 yards. Won't be enough for a first down, however. But it'll make this 4th down conversion attempt much easier. It's so easy as a defense on a 4th down play to get all jacked up, ready to come after the quarterback, And a good solid hard count there from McMillan. Got about 3 guys to jump.
And one of the guys that jumped is the new guy that was running onto the field. I really like that decision as well. You see a kid who's subbed onto the field late, not necessarily mentally prepared to be in there. He knows it's 4th down, and you go on 2.
Smart. It's good coaching.
It is, very much so.
So
and who knows if that call was in line anyway.
Sure. 4th and 2. And they'll go for it here. McMillan surveys. Now he's going to try and do it with his legs, and he'll have enough. Good decision there from the Carson quarterback as he picked up 4, needed 2, and that'll move the sticks.
Like what McMillan did there. You know, it doesn't have to overly complicate things if he believes he can pick up his 3 yards that he needs, and he just keeps it on the ground and moves it over.
Again, the Eagles line up quickly. McMillan to throw over the middle, and it's picked off. White, and look out. White up the far sideline, and he'll be pushed out of bounds there as he gets back to the 45-yard line. Big time turnover there for Handsworth. They needed that. And their star player, Keelan White, comes up with a pick. Keelan White, excuse me.
Keelan White just doing Keelan White things today. And you know what that is? That's Carson Graham going to the well one too many times on the same route. Now White's come up limping a little bit after that one, but they've gone to that quick slant from the slot and usually to Liam Scott's side. I would say about a half a dozen times today, and Keelan White just saw that happen in front of him one too many times and jumped it this time.
Well, they needed that turnover, and they get it. And now we'll line up from about the 44. Trailing by 9 with just over 3 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
White at tight end on this play.
Jansen waiting for the shotgun snap, takes it, looks to his left, now fires to his right. Completion made. And up that far sideline, good for about 7. As that was Michael Denoto.
Denoto been pretty involved today. Now Keelan White is down on the field. So it looks like he's going to have to go off for at least 1 right now, but he came up limping pretty good after that interception return.
Yeah, and then trying to go another play and then goes down. And they'll miss number 13 here for this 2nd and short.
One thing I do like from Richard White's offense is the amount that he moves his son Keelan around to try and open up looks for him. He's lined him up at running back today, at tight end, at slot, a true wide out. He's had him by himself. He's had him in a bunch. He's done all sorts of things to try and open up space for his star player.
Eagles fans getting raucous. And the 2nd and 1 coming up, and playbook wide open here for Coach White. As Keelan will get off the field.
What you cannot have, like usually you want to be aggressive as a coach in a situation like this, take what you consider a free play, but what you do not want to have is a negative play. A sack, something like that.
Jansen wants his man in the slot to move a little closer to the line. As they hold there for him here. Clap the hands, take the snap, look deep, and on the go, and well overthrown. Incomplete, looking for Steele Young, who's
there's your free play right there.
Looking around for a flag that's not coming, and it'll bring up 3rd and 1.
There's free play right there. Now you want your quarterback to put that on the outside towards the sideline as opposed to the inside. The inside brings the safety into that play. Fortunately for Handsworth, it falls harmlessly to the ground. Jensen's got an interesting throwing motion. He's a bit of a shot putter. And it's interesting how much power he is able to put on the ball, but he's very, very short with the backswing.
Well, I gotta think it's gonna be 2 downs here to get 1 yard if they need it, but I'm sure they want to convert on 3rd and 1.
And with the big plays and the special teams and the turnovers and stuff like that, it's been a long 3rd quarter.
And it's because, yeah, it's incomplete. We just haven't seen a whole lot of running, period, in this football game, which is not really the norm when it comes to high school football. And now the Eagles jump off some. Automatic.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
They don't even need to run a play. It'll be an automatic 1st down.
It's amazing. In some of the most obvious situations for a team to try a hard count, it's still effective. And it's universal. It never changes over the years.
Well, you just think, I want to be the guy to make the play. I'm going to be the guy to stuff this run, and you just get all geared up and give the quarterback some credit for the hard count, drew him off. 1st and 10 now. All just shy of the 40. Handsworth Down 9, look deep over the middle once again, and it's caught by Steele Young once again as he rolls all the way down for a touchdown.
Wow. And I think they're going to get,
Maybe a late hit on the quarterback.
getting a hold in the backfield. Wow.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. That's too bad. That was a beautiful ball by Ryan Jensen. Just dropped that right in there. Steele Young just had to basically let it fall right into his hands on that seam ball. That was really pretty.
Lutman.
Too bad it's all going to go for naught.
Not sure who the penalty came against, but it will go against Handsworth, and they will come back 10 yards and wipe out the touchdown from Steele Young. And there's certain plays in football games that can be the difference, and that one right there, a costly one for the Royals.
What's doubly unfortunate as well is that ultimately ends up being a 15-yard penalty because holding is a spot foul in high school, and when it's taken in the backfield, it's from wherever the hold was taken. So that becomes a de facto 15-yard penalty as well. Now they're really up against it.
First down, got to get to the 32 of Carson.
And I don't believe Keelan White has checked back onto the field yet either. I don't see 13 out there still.
Donato split wide out to the high side. So they go with a tight formation here. Jensen to throw quickly, slings it out there to Donato. And he'll fight for a couple extra yards, not much. As they bring up second and long here, as he picked up maybe 2.
And I feel for Handsworth. Your best players off the field, you manage to connect. Your quarterback and your wide receiver both just make a great play, and it gets called back for holding the backfield. I didn't see the penalty, so I'm not going to get into the merits of it, but it just that's so demoralizing, and so I'm interested to see how they'll fight back here.
2:43 to go here, third quarter. And it's about 2nd and 20. There's Jensen, pressured, spinning, fumble, ball's loose. Lutman after it, and who's got it? I think the Royals are back on top of it. But
we're about to see some fun numbers on the scoreboard.
Oh my. Crooked numbers coming for sure.
So Hosseini and Austin James in there. Austin James from his DN spot. Hosseini coming on the blitz as the linebacker. Hosseini was in the pressure first, and then James he saw Jensen extend the ball trying to avoid Hosseini and just batted right out of the open ball. Knocked it out easily. And we're going to see they have to get to the 31, the other 31. So you're looking at...
You do the math, Gordon Randall.
I'm counting 3rd and 53. 3rd and 53.
Average.
I got to be honest, not a lot of plays in the book for this one.
Oh, come on. Just run it off tackle, no?
It's too bad because the guy running the scoreboard hasn't bothered to count it. He's just left it at 25.
I don't blame him. I do not. Now fight comes in. What is this? Delay a game? Oh, my goodness.
Sorry.
I can do that math. That's 58 to go now for a first down.
Wow.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Did you see the one in college last year?
Half a football field to go for a first down.
Did you see the one in college last year? I don't remember who it was, but they were on the other team's 2-yard line, and they fumbled, and it turned into one of these
80 yards.
You know, it was literally like 3rd and 98 or something.
Yes, I do remember that now that you mention it. Here we go. Jensen to throw, obviously. And this one's caught.
Ball's out.
It's stripped away. Liam Scott's got it down the sideline. Now cuts it back. High stepping his way across the 20 to the 10. Stiff arms, falls forward down to the 2-yard line. Off the rip away there from Liam Scott. And then a big old return all the way down to the goal line.
And that was a rough sequence for Ryan Jensen. You know, he completes that pass, takes a lick as he throws it, but he's demoralized right now. He spent the rest of that play on the ground watching the play out in front of him, and after losing the fumble the play before, you know, he appears that he's looking a little defeated right now.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt. I don't know if he's got the wind knocked out of him or whether there's more serious problems there or not, but The problem here for Handsworth is they're backed up on their own goal line, and Jensen not putting any pressure. Or is it Lutman?
No, that's Lutman down. Jensen walked off after watching the rest of the play from a knee.
So Lutman, they'll miss him. Primary ball carrier in the backfield and on defense as well, who's got a pick 6 here this afternoon.
And then there's Keelan White, who patched himself up to get back into the game, tried to make a play for his team there, and came down with a nice catch, and then fighting for extra yardage, lost the ball. Tough breaks for the guys in white.
Yeah, gotta protect that football. That's always crucial. And it's a 1st and goal here from the 1-yard line, as the Eagles trying to put the Royals away here late in the 3rd quarter. And McMillan will keep it himself, lower the hat.
Good stuff.
Stacked up, didn't get in. And it'll be 2nd and goal.
And we've still seen some moxie from this Handsworth defense. They've really, when they've been backed up, they've really tightened up on the inside run stuff. Brought some heat up front at times too. A lot of battle level, and as I think, are they going to run another play here? Looks like they are.
Clock is running down to 10 seconds now. As they break the huddle
run out of
with
time
7.
here if they're not careful.
I don't think McMillan has any idea how much time is left on the clock.
No, they're not going to get it off.
And now he says, let's get to the break. We'll take a quick one as well. 4th quarter action coming up here on SportsCanada.TV. This is the BC High School football game of the week. 12 minutes to play here from Kinsman. Stick around. All right, football fans, welcome back. 4th quarter action set to go here. Nobody has left the field here in the Buchanan Bowl. 32nd annual here for North Vancouver. Jake Elliott, Gord Randall with you here in a 2nd and goal. It's McMillan. And no signal. They're going to say short again. Once again. As the Handsworth defense has really come to play here in the 2nd half.
Yeah, and this is their last stand here pretty much. So, you know, they get a stop here. This is a huge momentum swing, and they are not dead yet.
They're trying to go to McMillan twice. They'll knock on the door a 3rd time. McMillan's into the end zone. Touchdown, Eagles.
Okay, they might be dead now.
Well, 33-18 now. I'll tell you what, my color guy for the Langley Rams, Justin Morris, said, who apparently doubles as the PA guy here for Carson Graham, having some fun with this crowd after scores like that. As the home team, the Eagles, in command now. And talking with Coach Brady before today's game, saying, you know, like obviously a real tough schedule for him to start the year, but really expected his team to come out and play well today. And I think that's what we've seen after a bit of a slow, shaky start from Carson Graham. They've really taken control of this game and have executed quite well on both sides of the football.
They have. I mean, this is a better team than their record coming in would indicate, because in large part of that schedule. And, you know,
here's McMillan on the 2-point conversion attempt. Got a man open, but Rajwani overthrew and out through him. Out the back of the end zone, it's incomplete. And it'll be 33-18 as Handsworth will get the football back here. It's
always a tough call as coach when you're scheduling your non-conference stuff to start the season. You know you have a really tough conference to go through. I mean, this AAA West is just loaded.
Crazy.
Right? You've got the defending provincial champions in New West. You've got Vancouver College, who had a down year last year but is always strong. Notre Dame's on the upswing right now. Mount Doug is always Mount Doug. Gideon Kremler and his twin Zyrek are in their senior year. Dante Carbone's there. They're loaded. South Delta's got fireworks on offense. And don't forget about Siakam, who's been in the picture the last couple of years. They're trying to recover from the loss of the Philpott twins. But
good luck with that.
Yeah, no, it's well, we've seen what they've done at the U Sports level. Those guys are incredible.
Unbelievable athletes.
Yeah, they really are. But I mean, that's your gauntlet. Add Belmont into that. That's your gauntlet in the AAA Western Conference. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, no, you know what? I think it's great though.
Oh, it is. But it's just you slug it out every week in that conference. It's awesome.
11 and a half to play here from Kinsman. Here's the kickoff from Ethan Smith. Nobody seems to want to go to the football and return this one. Picked up now by Jarrett. And he'll make a couple of moves, but not much on the return as he's out past the 20 to about the 21. And taken down there, and that's where the Royals will set up here for this fourth quarter drive. Don't forget, next week, you mentioned South Delta. They'll take on Vancouver College on the campus of Vancouver College. And my man of AM 730 traffic fame, Alex Kerrigan, will have the call. He's also my former color man for the Rams, so I got to give him some love there. But Alex will do a great job calling that game.
I believe I was actually listening to him on the way out here as I was trying to figure out why I was sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the number one. So.
He is the man. As, he'll have the call for you. That one I'll be in Langley. We'll be in Langley tonight as well. Kamloops Broncos take on the Rams tonight. And
so what's the point spread in that one, like 35?
Well, I don't know if I want to go that far, but I would say at least 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
winless.
Because they seem to be the one. They seem to be the one team that's not quite competitive in that conference this year.
The Huskers are usually right there with the Broncos, and it's kind of the basement bowl every year between Kamloops and Valley. But Valley already with 4 wins under their belt going into week 8, have had a real significant improvement in their game this season, which is great to see. Yeah, it's great to see because it's been a fledgling franchise for a lot of years. I think they almost went a decade without winning a game, which, I mean, it's got to be just so tough to go through.
Good on them for sticking that out, though,
absolutely.
Right? That could kill a lot of programs.
Yeah, and they got a couple nice pieces there for Valley now, and they'll take on West Shore tonight, and that's really an intriguing game between those two clubs. I think the winner of that is going to have the inside track for that 4th and final playoff spot. So a big game going on in Valley as well. And then you got the marquee matchup over at Caledonia Park between the Raiders and the Sun for first place on the line, as that game should be into the second half by now as well. And here's a big run as Lutman, who got carried off the field, gets back in there and running well for Handsworth on that first down carry.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprising turn of events.
Looked like his day was done, and all of a sudden he's back in there going for 20.
Speaking of which, I believe Keelan White on the sidelines right now, so it appears his day may be done. I can't find him. I think he might be the guy on the knee there, but he is not on the field currently.
He's guarded by that sideline over there. We cannot see him. But the clock is running. A minute gone now in this fourth quarter. Ball is on the 40, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Royals. There's the snap. Jensen looking. Pressured and dropped in the backfield.
What a play by Parker Burt Henderson. As he had the tackle draped all over him, and he just did the rip and dip, almost touched the ground with his elbow, and then just laid out to catch Jensen as Jensen tried to step up inside of him. That's a fantastic defensive end play there.
The rip and dip.
Yeah, the rip and dip.
You coined that phrase yourself? Is that
no. That's a pretty common phrase. It's what you'll see top level defensive ends do a lot in their pass rush moves. They'll get the arm through, and they're trying to dip their shoulder underneath the offensive lineman's arms.
Gotcha. Rip and dip. I might use that one tonight.
Yeah, keep your eyes out for it.
Okay. Clock still moving. And this is really must-score territory now for Handsworth on this drive. If they want a chance to come back in this football game, they'll pick up a couple. But it'll be 3rd down now. And about 10 to go.
I think people will say dip and rip too, like the other way around.
Okay.
Yeah. Same
First time
thing.
I've heard it. I like it though. Anything that rhymes is usually good with me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's always nice to come up with something snappy as a play-by-play guy.
For sure.
That was not graceful.
Our cameraman bailing out on us here, Gord. Thank goodness we have a couple extra spares up on our perch.
You must have seen the weather forecast. He does want you to call him, though.
Well, rain has been really threatening all day long here, but has held off, thankfully. A couple of drops, but nothing significant. Jensen pressured again. Ball is loose. And Handsworth will fall on top of it, but going backwards here for the Royals is...
At some point, if you're Handsworth, at some point, are you trying to play for next week? Are you protecting your quarterback? I mean, he is under siege just about every time he drops back right now.
Yeah.
He just had an offensive lineman go off injured.
33-18, under 9 minutes to play here. With the football, I think if you don't score on this possession, and it's not looking good, as they'll have a 4th down and about 25 to go, then I think maybe you start to lean that way, but I think you might as well roll that. Now it looks like they're going to kick away here.
Well, I mean, it's no 3rd and 58, but yeah, I'm not liking your chances at 4th and 20 plus.
Fair enough. So Theo Benedette back to punters.
Handsworth students still keeping the energy going on this side, though. I've been pretty impressed with how many of them have stuck around through this whole affair.
Healthy contingent right from the JV game right through here to the senior game. But looks like the Royals might go 0-2 here on Buchanan Bowl Day. But school spirit still high for the Royals, no question about it. And going backwards even a little bit more here for Handsworth, as it's 4th down. Late substitution for the Eagles. And here's the kick. It's a good one from Benedette, as they'll bounce at the 42. Picked up here by Jaden Duke. Reverses field. Makes a cut, another, a spin move, flag comes in.
I'll be a block in the back.
Another flag comes in.
Jane Duke, by the way, D-U-Q-U-E. If his nickname isn't El Duque, what are we really doing here?
Eagles number 5, Jay Duke, picks up 8 yards.
I'm just going with the PA guy says. He's been here a while. 2 flags down. And it's going to be Carson Graham football. And now we may see a healthy dose of run here for the Eagles.
Absolutely. In fact, oh no, McMillan is on the field.
As they'll line it up from the 30-yard line.
Now, I have 7.5 left. You don't want to fold the tent too much here.
I'm going to give a shout out to the chain gang here today. I think they've done a nice job. Obviously volunteers out there, but been hustling up and down the sidelines all afternoon here, getting the job done.
Especially with the home team's no-huddle offense.
There you go. There's McMillan stepping up in the pocket. He's going to be wrapped up and dropped.
And they just cannot block Theo Benedette right now. That kid is.
I'm not sure
has
I
been
could block
really
him
impressive.
right
Yeah, that kid has been really impressive this afternoon. Does just about everything for Handsworth. Is their best guy up front, 6'5", 220. He looks like a guy who is ticketed for the next level.
Yeah, he's got the stats and he's got the athletic ability to go along with it.
Yeah, he is a senior. It'll be interesting to see whether he's a U Sports guy or a junior guy, but I can't imagine we've seen the last of him playing football.
McMillan on the rollout finds an open man. And completion made and first down made as well for Carson Graham.
And that's what you need to do if you're Brian Brady. You can't, like I said, you can't get too conservative. There's still 7 minutes left in this game. So it's not like you can just go run a few minutes off the clock and punt. You want to make sure that you can move the ball, put it away here.
Ball out to the 42-yard line on a 1st and 10 with the clock moving, 6:35, and McMillan to throw. He wants the deep one to Smith, and out through him by about 3 yards, and a flag in the backfield as well. And aggressive play call there from Carson Graham on a 1st and 10, clock moving, and they look for the deep home run hitter.
Yeah, this man had a step. If he could hit him too, he just overthrew him just a little bit, and now they're going to take a hold in the backfield, so it all goes for naught anyway.
Well, that's a real backfire for you, and that's, maybe the one that Coach Brady is second-guessing himself on.
And again, here's where that spot foul comes into play. That's another essentially 15-yard penalty there.
It's a huge hold there.
15, 16 yards.
And now you're probably thinking to yourself, why did I not just hand the ball off on 1st down and
yeah,
keep the clock moving?
That wasn't what I was trying to do.
6:32 to go. And now, going to get out to the Handsworth 48. Pass over the middle is complete. Gets back close to the 39-yard line. As Graham Marr, we haven't called his number all afternoon, making the reception there. 5'9" senior. Lines up in the slot here. 4 receivers in. And it's McMillan looking. Now he wants to run. He's going to be pressured. Still on his feet. Looks downfield. Floats it over the top and incomplete. Looked like a pretty well-thrown ball. Looking for Liam Scott there. Is usually sure-handed, but couldn't wrap that one up as it falls to the turf and brings up a 3rd down. Halfway through this 4th quarter. 3rd and 12 here for Carson Graham with the 33-18 lead. They actually have the football sign on the wrong side of the scoreboard right now. It is Carson Graham football. Here's McMillan to throw on the run. Another floater. Takes a hit in the backfield looking for a call on Lutman. Won't get it as they get up and share a word, but it'll be 4th down and look for the Eagles.
Got to be punting.
Yeah, got to be punting here.
Yeah.
Or at least to attempt to punt. We'll see if it actually happens.
Yeah. Yeah, kicking game's been a bit of an adventure. Back to what we were talking about earlier too. Like, you usually just find a guy who has played some soccer or whatever and can kick anyway, and don't spend a lot of time coaching it. I mean, Liam Scott's the punter for Carson Graham. It's Benedette who's the punter and kicker for Handsworth. Those guys have, at least in coaches' minds, better things to work on for a lot of their practice week than working on kicking.
It is Liam Scott that's back to punt. Good snap. Drops the ball to the foot, end over end kick, a high one as well. Takes a Carson Graham bounce and a good one at that. Backtracking all the way is Steele Young. And now Young. Looked like a block in the back there. And
good toss.
Yeah, that was a fastball coming in there from the back judge with the flag. And
so that referee is actually one of my first youth football coaches. That's Matt Kootenay out there, who was my first offensive coordinator when I was 8 years old.
You got to be careful of throwing those. I'm trying to think who it was.
Orlando Brown.
Cleveland?
Yeah. The guy got hit in the eye and his eye got taken out. Yeah.
And that ended his career. And, I mean, the way he threw that flag, I know you want to throw it in the direction or the vicinity where the infraction took place. And I'm not sure what do they put in there, like popcorn pebbles?
Yeah, like it's beanbag pellets.
Okay,
basically.
I mean, you got to be careful with that. That's all I'm saying. I remember after he took, keep it
low and hard,
shoved the official down.
Oh yeah,
there was it got a little crazy, but rightly so. I mean, you take one of those in the eye and
I don't know if this
phrase
is I don't know if this phrase is misplaced, but when you get hit in the eye, but you're just seeing red at that point. You're not even thinking.
Yeah. Well, I think the settlement side of things worked out okay for him, but still tough way for your career to come to an end. Try telling that story to your grandkids. There's Jensen on the rollout. Good catch there from Donato.
Again, I can't say enough about how great the crowd's been here today. I mean, I know
there are some too.
Yeah, really well behaved, and I know it appears there are some school officials from both schools kind of floating around a little bit, but
they haven't really. I mean, parents and fans alike all taking this one in and having a great time here at the Buchanan Bowl.
Yeah, having fun, making noise. I haven't seen too many people drinking out of sketchy unlabeled water bottles or anything like that. So.
little Saturday sipping.
I'm a high school teacher myself.
I
I'm not
gotcha.
naive about these things.
I gotcha. I went to high school.
Did you finish it?
I did.
Good.
Well, I didn't say I went to
Congrats.
class. I just went to high school. Just kidding. Former Centennial Centaur, and speaking of those Centaurs, I was getting back to Tweedsmuir, who's the #1 ranked. They whooped Centennial, I think, 78-6 or something like that.
Yeah.
In last week's game of the week, and thank goodness I had my guy Jay Prepchuk with me, because trying to call that one solo would have been a bit of an adventure.
Well, and speaking of your guy Jay Prepchuk, I see a couple of his shirts in the crowd out here. Jay,
There you go, yeah.
of course, the former Handsworth head coach, runs a.
His T-Birds having a bit of a rough season.
Oh, that game last night, man.
Questionable.
I mean, that's pretty much backbreaker for them. Like, you can still make the playoffs at 4-4 in the Canada West, but going into Alberta and losing, like, they'd had a pretty strong effort against Calgary the week before, and for them to come and lay an egg in that one. I heard rumors that they recorded 12 drop passes.
Oh my goodness.
12 drop passes.
You can't do anything for the quarterback there.
You know, and under Jay Prepchuk's tutelage, you know, Michael O'Connor's battled through some injuries this year, but he had a pretty good stat line yesterday.
Yeah.
But when you have 12 drop passes, I mean, you could have suited up Aaron Rodgers out there, and if nobody can bring it down, then
Yes.
which I think Aaron Rodgers has actually had happen in a few seasons in his career. So
Yeah. 3rd and 5 here as the Eagles look to come up with another stump on defense here with 4:27 to go in this football game now. And pretty much got to convert here if you're Handsworth. Jensen has a look. Got an open man, Lutman. He's got room. All sorts of room for Lutman as he's across the 50. And down, the ball loose at the end of the play.
they're going to roll him down.
I think the ground caused that fumble, and it'll stay with the Royals here as they'll move into Eagle territory around the 43-yard line.
Good for the Royals, excuse me, for continuing to play here.
And the Royals, good for the Royals too.
Yeah, good for the Royals. Yeah, they've really held up today. Maybe except for that hurdle thing. I don't know.
Yes, right. Ball
Yeah,
to the 45.
you know, Lutman's actually been really strong here in the fourth quarter. I mean, I think it's probably too little too late, but at the same time, I mean, like I said, you're playing for next week too, right? You've got you want some positive signs, some positive momentum of sorts. So
Yeah, that's the other thing, like I mentioned last week, that, yeah, the scoreline's way out of hand, but, you know, both teams, you only get so many live snaps per week, and you want to make the most of those opportunities.
and you can't duplicate that.
No, you can't. Lutman on the carry, and
I know I've tried.
Eagles trying to rip that ball out. Did they do it? Yes, they did. That's a fumble and a turnover.
And speaking of positive momentum for the Royals, poof.
Away it goes. After a promising drive.
Now,
another turnover.
worth noting, Handsworth is going into a bye next week, so they do have the week off to rest and recover from this one.
Who's on deck for the Eagles?
I'm working on it.
Okay. Give you some time. But it's Carson Graham in control now with just 3:39 to play, and they have the big lead here, 33-18. Still 2 scores here, technically. So
Carson Graham at Seacklem next week in North Delta.
that should be a good game.
That should be a good game. That's definitely a winnable game for Carson Graham. Seacklem's got some good talent from the North Delta Surrey border area there.
Surdell, I think they call that.
They do. That's actually where I grew up.
Okay, McMillan to throw on first down into traffic and somehow threads that one through to Liam Scott. I can't believe Carson Graham is throwing the football right now.
I'm a little surprised too.
I guess
I'm also a little surprised that
what brought you to the
McMillan
dance, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'm also a little surprised McMillan's on the field right now.
And 2-score game. The clock is your friend right now, and they will hand off this time, and Royals are ready for that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Seacklem, my alma mater, so I played for the Seahawks there, and it's great to see that program strong and thriving in the AAA ranks these days.
So you guys go with the Seahawks, right? Not the Sayhawks?
Yes, the Seahawks.
They spell it like S-E-Y, do they not?
No, you're thinking of Seacove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, You're
no,
right. You're
we
right.
just spell it like the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
We take their logo and everything.
now does Seacove say it? Seahawks.
No, I don't know. I know I would if I went there.
I don't think they're on the game of the week schedule. You
Yeah.
probably don't have to worry about it. At least not until November when playoff time rolls around potentially.
Yeah, no, nice little branding thrown into your lap there if you're Siakam. I mean, Carson Graham does the same. You can see their logo, essentially a recolored Philadelphia Eagles logo.
Why not?
It's interesting, actually. There's some really beautiful native-inspired artwork that forms the official crest of the Carson Graham Secondary School. I'm a little surprised that the football team hasn't run with that a bit.
They should.
Absolutely. Rep what you are, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I had the opportunity. We're the stars at Sullivan Heights, so a lot of people ask me, well, you're just going to go with the Cowboys motif, right? I'm like, we're not the Cowboys, though. We're the stars. I want us to have our thing.
I could do Dallas Stars. Hockey team.
Yeah.
Good carry there on 2nd and long.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of star motifs out there, but you want to create your own brand, right? And make sure that you are you.
It's kind of a neat thing for you to be able to do, starting up a program like that, to kind of design your own logo.
Very much so. I actually, our varsity team's uniforms, I actually designed every detail of myself. So.
Wow. Here we go on 3rd down, and pass over the middle is incomplete.
Figured if I was going to put all the time into launching it up, that I might as well have something that I want to look at. So it's a nice piece of pride. But
what are the team colors?
Navy, silver, and white.
So very cowboy-ish.
Yep. As it turns out, we technically have some green as a school color too, but I couldn't find a way to work it in that I liked. So we ultimately stuck with navy, silver, and white, and it comes out as a very different look than the Cowboys.
I'll take your word for it.
We got navy blue helmets.
Not a big Cowboys fan, so I'm happy to hear that. 4th and 2, and they will, in fact, go for it here. And essentially try and end the football game. As McMillan on the rollout. Here comes pressure off the nice design there. And completion made. And look out. The big man wants to rumble. He's knocked out of bounds inside the 20.
Logan Widener just about got in for the try there. He looked like a rugby player, and he still holds the football like a rugby ball, I might add, too. Right over the middle of the ball.
Once he caught that football, I could almost just see, like, he wanted to initiate contact with somebody. Like he was just waiting for it and kind of inviting the contact to come.
Yeah, holding the ball well out from his body again, kind of rugby style. He's fun to watch, that kid.
Yeah, specimen.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Just over 2 to play.
And he's a guy, again, like I think that moving forward this season, Carson Graham's got to make him a big part of their offense as he continues to learn the game. I know Brian Brady told me, he's still pretty raw, still figuring things out a little bit, but as he gets more comfortable in this game, I think he could be your big equalizer.
Yeah, you got an athlete.
Your Gronkowski, so to speak.
You get an athlete like that, you got to find ways for him to get on the field and then get him the football.
Plus, I feel like it's pretty badass having a guy dominating wearing number 99 too. I feel like that's just a little extra touch as well.
It takes some gumption to throw that number on.
In this country, yeah.
Here's McMillan. Good job to keep the play alive. Pass, however, falls incomplete. And just $1:42 to go now.
Now that you're in this deep, I'm pretty surprised with the passing. I mean, I guess you just want to finish the drive, but I mean, the other thing too, you talk about game reps, like with Carson McMillan having been out for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
maybe he's wanting him to work some different stuff that they haven't got to, and he's just kind of emptying his play sheet for the day.
Who am I to judge? They're winning 33-18.
Yeah, a more accomplished head coach than myself. Yes.
2nd and 10 now. McMillan on their read option will keep it. Now we'll pitch it. And it's going to work out. Down to the goal line. No flags. Out short of the end zone, but
Kwame Mensah.
Nice carry there from Mensah. Called his number very often here today.
Surprising as he was their second leading tackler going into today, which is always a good sign from a cornerback.
Again, they line up quickly here. McMillan on that read option again, keeps it this time, and they'll be stopped short.
Absolutely would go back to the same thing after the way it worked last time.
Well, it's just victory formation here, no?
I guess. I mean, Handsworth has their timeouts in hand right now.
I don't think they're going to call them.
I don't either. And I don't know that they're going to be overly pleased if
No,
Graham goes pedal to the floor and bangs this one in.
A little slap in the face. Under a minute to go here.
Now they're going to slow it down a bit.
Buchanan Bowl will go the way of the Carson Graham Eagles here in 2018. Now McMillan up the middle, diving for the goal line. No signal.
I think whether he got in or not, the referees are just going to, oh no, I think I saw him on the one.
And the clock will keep moving here.
Looking for the QB sneak once again, but he stopped at the 1.
And maybe one more play to go here in the 2018 Buchanan Bowl. They'll break the huddle with 10 seconds to go.
Anxious to see if they snap this with the clock running down here. They could just not snap it.
They don't need to, but they will. And stacked up at the goal line.
Good for the Royals. Good for Handsworth.
And the
I'm
fans
glad they stopped him there.
will take the fields as the Buchanan Bowl will go to the Carson Graham Eagles with a convincing victory over the Handsworth Royals, 33-18. Your final as the mob session on here on Kinsman Field. Well, fun football game. And great atmosphere here today for the BC High School football game of the week. Gord, your first football game calling here on the game of the week. Appreciate you coming on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. Really enjoyed it. You know, we got to see some really interesting, kind of weird plays. We saw some big plays. You know, Keelan White was full value before he got hurt and left the game. And you know, Carson Graham though, like they were the better team throughout. I thought, even weathering that early storm where they had a couple blow-up plays against them, I thought that they looked more composed and more ready to go here this afternoon. And you know, gradually they turned it around and proved to be the better team here today.
Well, speaking of ready to go, I got to get on my horse and get out to Langley for Rams and Broncos. Alex Kerrigan will have the call next week from Vancouver College for South Delta and Van College here on SportsCanada.TV and BCHighSchoolFootball.com. Once again, your final 33-18. Carson Graham over Handsworth for our entire production crew here at Sports Canada. For Gord Randall, I've been Jake Elliott. And for the Gridiron and the Pigskin, we'll talk to you in a week's time. Have a good one, everybody.